Greetings. Greetings and God bless you. Brothers and sisters, friends and foes, lovers and haters of the truth, we are back yet again with another wonderful. Well, this news story, honestly, I wouldn't say is wonderful, but another truthful time here in the TNT network after hours. But we got to talk about some things, brothers and sisters. We got some things to talk about. Most definitely. Much to my dismay, much to my regret, as much as I hate to say it, there's been another unaliving, another life lost in the ICE raids that have been initiated by President Trump. And this time, well, it's hard to argue with the facts. We got videos, we got clips, and we got questions. We're going to talk about it tonight as we're doing a deep dive into this heartbreaking story that's definitely shaking our nation and got a lot of people divided. I'm your humble host, TNT News. And tonight we're going to be talking about the recent shooting of Alex Preddy, a dedicated ICU nurse, which took place during the federal immigration operations, otherwise known as the ICE raids in Minneapolis. This happened just a couple days ago. 37-year-old American citizen lost his life when he had an encounter with Border Patrol agents. As always, brothers and sisters, we fact-check the details. We examine the responses from President Trump, the mayor, the governor, and of course, the floor is open for your thoughts. This is a tragic accident, or incident, I should say. My hope is that it was an accident. But we have to find out. Did this take place in pursuit of law and order? Or is this a violation of rights that demands accountability on behalf of ICE? And stick around as we unpack this tonight in the after hours. I'm joined early on the panel by my brother Jamon Williams, calling in from AZ. God bless you, brother.
Greetings, brother. Greetings. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good, Jamon. You know, it's this ICE situation does not seem to be slowing down by any means.
No, it's not. I don't see it slowing down anytime soon this year. Maybe next year it will start to decrease, but right now, tensions are high.
For sure.
Everyone's emotional about this. And that's my thing. If people just can take the emotion out of it, and just look at it for what it is. This is the law that is set in America. Do you have to like it? No, no one says you have to agree with it. This is why we have votes and things like that statewide, but and you know, we have council members and things like that. I don't vote because, well, you know the reason why. I'm not going to go into that. But at
Hmm.
the same time, for those people that's out there yelling and screaming and protesting, you're not going to make a big difference in this matter, causing that type of havoc. What you can do is start, you know, voting in the people who you feel like is going to uh, make your hear your voice and make your country the way you want it. You know, because that's how it works. You know, we know that this is a democracy,
Mm.
and we have to live in it. You know, but it's not gonna you going out there yelling, screaming, throwing stuff, pushing. You know, once something you have the right to protest, but it's the way you protest. You can't protest and push somebody and say, I'm protesting. Or you can't throw a rock at somebody and say, I'm protesting. That's not how you
Mm.
protest. You know, these people that are so called protesting now, they're really pushing the limits. They're pushing other individuals that have weapons, and they're expecting them to keep their composure and to keep their I don't know what you would call it, but the fact of the matter is we're all human at the end of the day, and people have breaking points. Now I'm not going to go too far into it because I know you got the facts and the details and stuff, but I did look into it, and
Wonderful.
people are upset at what happened. But if you look at the evidence,
Mm.
these things are going to happen.
Mm. You know, powerful statements from our brother Jumand, and certainly I agree with certain things that he is saying, and I know that there's going to be a divide. Brother Jumand, there's going to be a divide in the
Yeah.
chat. But before
Yeah.
we get into it, you know, I do want to give a quick shout out to all my brothers and sisters watching on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Hit that button.
You know, share your opinion in the comments, the live chat, whether you catch it live or on the replay. And before we dive in here, I do want to say a quick prayer.
Yes, sir.
Oftentimes we end in prayer in the after hours, but tonight we're going to start. So I just want to take a moment to do that. Heavenly Father, I come before you in the name of Jesus Christ to ask you to guide our words, guide our thoughts, and guide our hearts. That we may always be seekers of the truth. We may always abide by the laws that you have set in place. We ask for your guidance. We ask for your peace. We ask for your comfort for all those who were affected and are continuing to be affected by what's taking place throughout this country and throughout the world. We ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, brother. So first, let me lay out the facts. Let's lay out the timeline and the details that are being reported from reliable sources. We're not spinning the stories. We're just hitting you with the facts so that you there in the chat can form your own opinion, your own view, and certainly we want you to share that with us here. So during the ICE raids, it's not new that people are getting hurt. There's been recent shootings and things of that nature, and we're reacting now to one that took place on Saturday, January 24th, beg your pardon, 2026, about 9 a.m. in Minneapolis, in the Whittier neighborhood. Alex Jeffrey Preddy was involved in a confrontation with federal agents, ICE, as they are known. Preddy is a 37-year-old U.S. citizen. He was an ICU nurse at the VA healthcare system in Minneapolis and cared for veterans, things of that nature. We're very saddened for the loss of life. I don't want that to be lost in this conversation or in your guys' reaction to the situation. Um, you know, the different accounts from his colleagues, his family, they're saying he was a helper, somebody that was dedicated to saving lives. Obviously, as an ICU nurse, that's what's required. Being ready to assist others. So let's look at what happened in this incident. We've got video here. Viewer discretion is advised. But before we play the video, we're going to let you know that this incident occurred obviously while there's ongoing federal immigration enforcement operations, the ICE raids. So this was during the ICE raid. According to the Department of Homeland Security and other witnesses, as you can see, somebody had their phone out. Bystander video is what we're about to watch here. Preddy approached the agents while he also was filming or directing traffic during the protests. Video shows agents using a chemical spray, most likely mace, pinning him to the ground, and then at some point there were multiple shots fired. Reports indicate at least 10 shots over 5 seconds by 2 officers. Let's take a look at this video here. Now the video is muted. Viewer discretion is advised. I mean, it's a lot going on. I mean, there's several heads in there, several bodies moving, and things of that nature. Obviously, the man on the ground is Mr. Preddy. And at that point in time, we can see someone moving away here with a weapon in their hand. That's all it took, folks. That short amount of time was all it took for it to be over. He already had lost his life in this short video that we were watching here. Case in point, that's how quickly things can go bad. And tragically, Preddy was fatally shot and pronounced dead at the scene. Now, they said that he approached them with a 9mm handgun and that he was violently resisting attempts to disarm him. But videos such as this are showing him holding a phone in one hand with the other hand empty. They don't show any clear gun visible during the takedown. And of course, family and witnesses are disputing claims that he brandished a weapon. This marks the second deadly shooting by federal agents, ICE, in Minneapolis this month. And of course, that's intensifying protests nationwide. I want to show you guys another video here real quick before we react to what we just saw. This is live. Let me mute that. This is a live stream of protests that are taking place in Minneapolis. This is a live stream from a news network. You can see, the people are unhappy. There's a lot going on. Unrest, confusion. They're shooting into the crowd with smoke, tear gas, things of that nature. But safe to say, I mean, you see the press is out there. This looks like a war zone, Brother Jamond.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you can't see what I'm seeing. Let me.
No, I've been waiting for you to put.
Crazy. This is getting crazy, brothers and sisters. And this is why it's important that we stay prayed up. This is why it's important that you stay aware of the facts and what's going on, what's taking place. I do want to greet my brother in Holiness, having joined. It looks like it's Bob T. Bob T in the background too. Shout out to Bob T.
Greetings, brothers. Greetings.
Greetings. God bless.
Finally beamed up.
Hey, I apologize. There's a lot going on here.
That's all good, bro.
I mean, just from, I don't know if y'all caught the video of Mr. Preddy and what took place, but a lot of people are asking, why was Border Patrol even there? These operations are obviously part of President Trump's push for stricter immigration control. A lot of people are saying, I voted for this. This is what makes America great again. But critics are highlighting escalation in non-border cities. Minneapolis is not at the border, is it?
Minneapolis?
Yeah, that's pretty far from the border as far as I understand. I mean,
that's not near Canada.
Right. So, I mean, there's already been changes. You guys saw some of the protests. This is happening tonight. Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino was stripped of his title. Other agents placed on administrative duty or relocated, and plans have been announced for some to take leave from Minneapolis soon. So we've seen video evidence, but from a fact check standpoint, initial claims of Preddy as a would-be assassin or someone intending to massacre agents, they look very false. I mean, he didn't point a weapon at anybody in the video that I saw, and so those are facing heavy scrutiny. And he was legally carrying under Minnesota law. That's something also to keep in mind. So now the focus shifts towards the use of force by ICE. To the point I posted in the chat, is ICE justified in their use of lethal force during the raids? I want to hear some responses from our brothers on the panel.
No lethal force is justified. Killing is not justified at all. But again, you're one something. Let me say this: if the police would do their jobs, maybe this wouldn't have gone so far. If the police was there to keep the crowd control and let ICE do their jobs and their raids and the rest of the person that they're looking for, this might not have happened. The fact that the governor and the mayor is telling the police to not get involved and to stand down is crazy. So you're going to have this type of craziness going on. The police should be there to monitor the citizens, to make sure they don't cross any lines that they shouldn't be crossing. See, the fact is, these citizens should not be nowhere close near any raid, any investigation going on. They shouldn't be nowhere near it. The fact that this guy can get that close to them is crazy. Where's the police?
That's crazy.
My
input on it is a little bit different. I feel like they're definitely wilding out. You seen in the image, like I don't believe in, the killing of anybody. I don't, or holding guns, right? But I come from a gun state, right? Where everybody's packing. Over in Florida, everybody's packing. They have guns, like they buy guns like they at Walmart. So everyone's gonna have something on it, even though around law enforcement, people have the ability to, go use the Second Amendment, their amendment, right? So my thing is, the guy was at a protest. He has the right to do that as well too, and he has the right, and he had the right to bear arms. So in that way, like regardless of them saying they found a gun on him, he had the right to do that in Minnesota, just like every other American. So if he's an American citizen and he can't legally protest without any, and without causing any harm, because from the video, he wasn't doing anything wrong.
So I want to interject real quick, brother. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm real sorry to interrupt, but we got different views of the video. Go ahead and continue with your response. I'm just going to play the video while you respond. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Actually, no. You go ahead and play the video, then I'll finish my own part. I want
to. So it's playing right now. This is 3 different views. You got somebody from way far back over here on the left. Somebody's kind of hiding behind a car in the middle, and somebody's kind of straight up in front of them on the far right. Right, 3 different views of what's taking place. It's hard for me to discern what exactly happened here, because it's a scuffle, obviously. No, I just wanted to ask, and then we'll go back to Brother and Holiness, and then we'll come right back to you, Jermon, as well. But was this preventable, based on what we're seeing here? Let me know, Brother and Holiness. Go ahead and finish up.
My point is this, right? When it comes to law enforcement, any particular form of force, right? If we can uphold the police officers for any type of behavior, and we can uphold them for certain type of things like that, then why can't we uphold them as regular citizens? I don't feel like it's right for no citizen should be able to come out their house. Like from my knowledge, he was a nurse, worked in the NICU. He was out there still with his right to protest, and it wasn't like he was protesting in force. He had his camera up, you know what I mean? So I'm looking at that as just you're a regular citizen. You're doing what you're able to do by law. So there's no reason why somebody could come up to you, and regardless of whether they find a gun on you or anything, they could have done a good way of de-escalating that situation. You know, you have different weapons like tasers and certain things, different ways to de-escalate versus pepper spraying this man and then taking his life. Because that to me as a regular citizen, what stops them from doing that to anybody else?
I
You
hear
know?
you. You know, a lot of people in the chat are saying that Preddy was legal up until the point where he intervened in the situation. You know, a lot of people are saying, hey, nobody would have been unalived if they stayed at home. Imagine they had plenty of time to throw money at people to agitate. I want to read this
Uh,
comment from Sister
yeah.
Vanessa. I'm sorry,
Okay.
brother. I'm going to get right back to you. Um, but Sister Vanessa said something that's important. She said, I've participated in protests in the past. However, you can't pay me to do so now. Very unsafe, brothers. Very
Yeah.
unsafe to
Yeah.
protest now. I mean, ICE is coming through with assault rifles. Shout out to homie Joe. Um, you know, again, we asked the question: could this have been prevented? Um, I want to
Yeah.
play one more video. Sorry, go ahead, brother. Could this have been prevented?
Yeah. I honestly feel like, yeah, like I said, if they're out there using his legal right to protest and ICE shows up, no, like, come on, like you now you're going over where people can do a healthy protest against whatever
But
thing you're
that's the
doing.
thing, brother. These people are coming to them. ICE isn't going towards the people saying move. The people is coming towards them, coming at them. Yeah, that's why I said, "Where's the police at?" Because if you watch the video I watched, these people are coming from all corners of the street, and they're coming at the ICE agents. They're literally trying to get in the way of the ICE agents.
So I got some video here that shows
Okay.
a little bit about what happened before this took place.
Okay.
Um, and I think this might give us further insight, and then we'll hear from my brother Bob T and homie Joe. Shout out to you, homie Joe. God bless you.
God bless you, brother.
So this is what happened right before. I'm gonna try to play this slowly at half speed so we can see what's really going on, um, and what really took place. So it's gonna narrow down to one view in just a moment here. This is a protester, I assume, and this is an ICE agent. So what initiated it is this push, where he, as one of the brothers said, Superman pushed her. So he shoved her, right? He said, you know, look, watch out. Now, this man holding his hand up is Preddy. They're saying this is the point where he intervened, right? The ICE agent shoved the woman, and Preddy intervened to say, you know, whatever he said. I wasn't there. He's getting maced, as you can see. They're zooming in. He's holding a camera in his hand, or phone, pardon me, not just like a camera, but he's holding a phone. But still, you know, you have people that are supporting ICE, and definitely like Benji Bot too. He said, "I love my tea like I love my country," filled with ice. So let me finish this here. Um, just the video, and some are saying it doesn't matter. We're just trying to get to the truth of it all. That's all. We're not saying that this justifies or doesn't justify anything, but for those who haven't seen it, we just want them to have all the facts. All right. So again, he's not holding a weapon. At this point, Preddy is dragged onto the floor by about maybe 4 or 5 ICE agents, and now he's this man that's down on the ground right here in the scuffle. He's down on the ground still, and this is where they find I assume the circle is the weapon in his waist, the legally carried 9mm. Right, that's what was pulled out by an ICE agent. They seen it. Obviously, they called it out, and now you can see one of them yanking it out of his waistband. They're yelling "gun, gun," and right before it ends, you see a man reaching right here. ICE agent reaching. So that's the full clip in its entirety. Started off with a shove of a protester. Mr. Preddy intervened, and when they noticed, or basically they put him on the ground because of his intervention, and they noticed that he was armed at that point in time. I mean, I'm asking the chat, and I got to ask the brothers on the panel: is this justified? Is this legal or lethal?
It's foul.
Well,
Foul work.
I guess, and Trump laws or whatever law they got right now, it's supposedly legal, but it's not fair. It's not justified. Like, when it comes to like cops or any type of law enforcement, I hold those guys to a high standards because I have a CDL license, class 8. I'm held a higher standard than a person that have a regular license. So a person that have a regular license is not like me. I'm held to a higher standard. So when I get pulled over, they don't look at Bob T and say, well, he just have a driver license. No, when I do certain things in the streets, when I act like a fool, don't stop at the stop sign, when I cut somebody off or I hit somebody, whatever the circumstances is, I'm held to a higher standard. Any situation that I have, it's always preventable. These are things that I had to learn and required when I had these experience under my belt being a CDL driver. So when I look at law enforcement, ICE, or whatever department you go in, you're held to a higher standard. You're not a regular human being. You're not no dude. You're not just a guy that works at a warehouse job. You're not just an average Joe. You're held to a higher standards. You have to act a certain way. So when a cop, there's guys, I get mad all the time. I get pissed off. People cut me off. In the end of the day, I'm still held a higher standard. When a cop have a bad day, he's held to a higher standard. So even though his day suck, somebody push him, hit him, he ain't supposed to be like, you know what, I'm gonna pull out my taser and chase the guy because I have a bad day. No, he's held to a high standard.
So Baptiste, so just so that I don't want to misconstrue what you're saying, and I don't want the chat to misconstrue either, because they're saying different things, of course, such as, hey, he impeded traffic, he assaulted an officer, he resisted arrest, he came to a riot with a gun without his license.
Listen, it doesn't matter. Listen, it doesn't matter. So if we're gonna say all that, he brought a gun and all this other yada yada stuff, then we might as well just add all the people that died because they resist law. So it's justified that Floyd and the rest of them that died, it was okay.
What?
We might as well just throw that in the table and say it was all right.
Hold on, I got you,
Because
Jamal.
it was justified.
I got you next, brother. So I hear what you're saying, Baptiste, and certainly, there's a lot of strong emotions in this. Raxter 10, shout out to him.
Throw that in the table.
He said a man shows up with a gun in the middle of an ICE operation, and I mean that kind of, I don't know. Look, I wasn't there.
You go to Florida, everybody have guns. It's the same thing.
True.
Everybody and their mama have guns. They're not scary like ICE agents. There's cops and people that walk in at Walmart with guns. They don't be like, "Oh, Sam, freeze! Put your hand down!" Oh, and be all scary.
I hear you.
In Minnesota, it's
Come
it's
on,
legal to
man.
carry a
Didn't
gun,
the
right?
dude last year just got his
It
teeth
is
knocked
legal.
Come on,
out
bro.
Yeah. The cops there in Florida,
by
they'll
state,
ask you,
by
"Oh man,
Florida
what is
Hold,
that?
state
Is that a
hold on
police.
one
rooster?"
sec, Jamon. I'm gonna come right back to you, brother. I got you. I'm gonna come right back to you, Jamon. Homie Joe had a question, comment, and we hadn't heard from him yet. He said it is legal to carry in Minnesota. That is true. I wanted to read this comment as well, and we're gonna get your take, Homie Joe. Sister Toylin says that definitely was not right. That ICE agent was being extremely aggressive toward that situation. Sister Vanessa said you are taking a chance and risking your life out in these streets when ICE is present. I definitely agree with that. I mean, if you see somebody with assault rifles, I'm not finna go out there. That's just me.
All right.
But that doesn't mean that anything is justified. As Brother Jamon said, lethal force is not justified here. Homie Joe, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, from looking at the video, and I didn't see the other views that you're showing, just the main one. And this is how I'm
I can run it
seeing
back.
it. Okay, well, this is how I'm seeing. If you can run it back, this is how I'm seeing it. As this guy is looking at an ICE agent push a woman, and like I said, we're not all there, so we don't know. But it looks like he's like, hey, calm down, and they just threw him on the
Right.
ground. And okay, if it's legal out there to carry a gun, and the cop is knocking that guy down, of course he's going to have a gun because it's legal. So there, I see it as the ICE took it too dramatically as, oh, he got a gun, pa pa pa. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because why?
wow.
I mean, why would they be so surprised that he had a gun if out there? Not saying that every state that legals that have that's legally right to have a gun, not everybody's going to have a gun, but you kind of expect it, right? Like the brother said, in Florida, everybody has a gun. See, I'm
Yeah.
in California. We don't have that kind of
No.
law.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So if it was out in California, I could even kind of see how the ICE agents can get freaked out, but because they know the state that they're in the town that they're in, they should already have known if they're going to go to a state like that, someone would be carrying a gun. And I get it because I'm reading the comments too as well. He shouldn't be carrying a gun. Well, if you live in a state like that, wouldn't you? Regardless if you're just walking down the street or if there was something going on,
All right.
you know what I mean? And so,
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel like just from the video that the ICE agent just got too dramatic and got trigger happy.
So I mean, it's undeniable as we watch this video, right, that things went left very, very
Very
fast,
fast.
right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
stuff happened in a heartbeat, right? Again, I'm
Right.
gonna just recap this video for everyone. So ICE pushed this woman here. They're kind of saying, "Hey, move it along." Shoved her again, shoved her down. This
All
time,
right.
when he shoved her down, Preddy intervened and made contact with the ICE officer
Right.
Yeah,
here.
Like yeah, because like I said,
he's a grown man scared of a woman pushing down a woman. You a grown
exactly
man.
in
Like, come
Exactly.
exactly
on, dude. You a punk.
from this angle, it looks like he's just trying to ice like, hey, chill,
Come
relax.
on, dude.
So,
You
so
know?
I gotta play both sides on this. Not to say I wasn't there, right? But what's clear
Right.
is that ICE obviously was trying to get this woman right forcibly moved somewhere, right? That's why they're shoving her. When they shoved her the second time, what's also clear is that Preddy engaged with the ICE officer here. That's when he shoved him back. And you can see he took a defensive stance and brought out the mace immediately. I mean, immediately he's spraying dude in the face with mace, right? So I have to say, if I'm in this situation, just trying to empathize, um, and your things are already physical, right? Woman's on the ground, another man has now put hands on me. He got in defensive mode right here. Now I'm not justifying anything. I'm just looking at the video. We can
Right.
see that he went into defense mode when Preddy engaged him, and that's where he sprayed him. Um, and of course, Preddy has his camera. And that's where the other officers then began to engage Preddy, who he seems like he's trying to help maybe this woman that's on the ground. Another woman's trying to come back. This is the one that got shoved. This ICE agent's kind of like, hey, y'all need to back up. He got his mace in his hand. And there's about 3 to 4 agents on Preddy who's on the ground. Now, to me, what it looks like took place, ICE was trying to move the protester along by shoving her. And of course, that was a use of force against a woman that I wouldn't agree with at all. Preddy intervened, and they saw his intervention as an aggressive act. Others in the chat are saying that was him assaulting the ICE officer when he put hands on him and resisting arrest by not, laying down on the ground. So let me know, Jamon, what are your thoughts on this before we switch gears here and look at President Trump's response?
When
you see this whole video, what is your response?
Yeah, I saw the whole video, and I'm just saying, if it was me, I wouldn't have got in between the ICE agent and the woman. I would have went and grabbed the woman. I would have put my phone down, because see, that's the thing. He's so worried about getting the right shot, getting the right angle, he put himself in harm's way. Again, they're trying to get her out of the way. So obviously she's in the area where she's not supposed to be. Again,
but think of it like this, brother. I get what you're saying, but think of it like this. Put yourself
wait. In any crime scene, right? Police have the right to have, I think, 200 feet. If you're with anywhere in 200 feet of a crime scene, you are engaging of a scene. You are in the way. You are not supposed to be there. You're not allowed to be close on.
You're talking about a crime.
Not to interrupt.
What's the crime?
But there was
hold on one second, brothers. Hold on 1 second.
There's a raid going on. They're arresting somebody.
Hold up. I got this. Hold up. Now, Jamond is right in regards to it's against the law for anyone to interfere with ICE activities. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying legally, that's what. Because remember, last time we talked about this, we read that law that it is a felony to interfere with the ICE operation. I'm not saying that's what they were doing. It looked like they were just standing around, and ICE was like, "Get out the way," right? But I'm just stating that's what law is. So another thing, though, to keep in mind, brothers, and I'm gonna let Jamon finish, and then also shout out to Endor, 2 out of 2 Holiness twins on the panel. Beer Thalamus said that Preddy's gun went off during the struggle before he was shot. So that adds a different element here, right? He already made contact with ICE, not inadvertently, but we'll say they didn't know what he was going to do, right? They were pushing the woman. Obviously, they didn't expect him to intervene. Then if his gun went off, that obviously heightens things quite a bit. If you're trying to scuffle with someone on the ground and you hear a shot, that definitely is going to make things a lot more scary. But go ahead, Jamon. I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, you good. All I'm saying is this could have been avoided, right? If people would just stay out of the way. All right. They purposely try to get in the way. We don't know if the woman was in the way, but I mean, why else would they be trying to move her out of the way? If you're not in the way, they're not going to try to get you out of the way. The only time that they try to move you or tell you to go away is if you're trying to interfere in their investigation or their raid or whatever the case may be, or you're standing too close. But again, it's wrong it's wrong what happened, but I'm just saying all this could have been avoided if people would just stay out of the way. Secondly, you've been hearing all over the news how these protests and raids have been going on. It's your right to carry a gun, true, but you got to be smart. You know what I mean? Like you, like I don't know if that's true or not that his gun went off, but you got to be
Yeah, I don't know.
smart. You know, you got to be smart. Why would you go to a hostile area with a loaded weapon? That like you said, brother. If I see people with ARs outside of my house, I open my door and I see someone's house get raided, I'm shutting my door, locking it, and I ain't coming back out until I know they're gone. I'm not
For
finna take
sure.
my phone and try to record and try to get all up close and say, "Oh, hey, he's my neighbor. He's innocent. What are you doing? You're wrong." I'm not finna get in the way. I'm finna let them do their bidding, let them do what they're hired to do, and I'm gonna keep living by God's permission.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Hey, brother
I'm gonna
TNT.
make a quick point, just real quick about that phone, right? I also look at it too. Like most average Americans bring out their phones very quickly out
For
of
sure.
safety. Out of safety, because most of us will bring out our phone and start recording immediately, just so that especially against police officers. Most Americans do that now. So they would bring out their phone and say, "Hey, you know what? You can't go past this point. I'm recording your actions, so you're held to something, and I'm held to something right at the moment, right?" So when he had his phone in his hand, to me, it was more so like that was usually when people are in those situations. That's usually what they do, and as of that, and even for the woman that got pushed, like I
Yeah.
think that's a natural response for a man to see any woman get Superman pushed like that, to be like, yo,
Exactly.
that's a natural response for any man to be like, yo, that's crazy. Hold on, calm down. Because
Yeah.
even if you ain't just gonna, I mean, as a man, if you just gonna be like, yo, like it reminded me of back in the day when that old man got like tossed to the ground and his head cracked open during the riots back in the day. You know what I mean? During the Black Lives Matter movement, right? If you right there, you see your grandpa get just thrown like he's Thanos, or like Thanos kick. Yeah, you might say you're gonna say something, or you should do something as a man. Well, watch a woman get thrown like that. It's your natural response as a man to be like, "Yo, no, that's not right."
And not only
Regardless, I
that
don't care
too,
whether
it
you do an
happened on the side of
operation. Right?
them.
Go ahead, brother. Go
Oh,
ahead,
I'm
Mama.
sorry. I didn't mean to. No, I was gonna say not only that too. It literally happened on the side of them. And like what the brother, I get what the brother was saying earlier, but it's like, okay, but in the heat of the moment or whatever, you see just a random dude just push a woman. Especially if I was around, I would be like, hey, dude, calm down. That's not even necessary. Like, you know what I mean? And regardless, if that woman, because I was gonna ask brother TNT, was there any footage prior to like before they got the guy on the ground? Was there another 5 minute clip of why the agents pushed that woman, or there's no clip of that at all by any chance?
Unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, what I'm able to find, and some of the brothers might have some better stuff as well. I do want to shout out to my brother Gino P on the panel. God bless you, Gino. I know you tired, bro. I appreciate you coming to break night with us here in the after hours on the TNT network. But let me play this video from the start, from jump, to answer brother Joe, and then we're going to turn the tables over to President Trump's response. This is a good conversation. A lot of people in the chat. There's a dichotomy of responses. Virtual Honey said, "Look, stay out their faces and their way. The people there are acting wild." So there's people that are saying, "Hey, had you not intervened, had you not been hurt." Um, Others are saying, "Hey, they pushed him clear across the street." So, and also like Mother Shelley said, which is very true, Mr. Preddy never pulled his weapon out and his hands were out. So we'll see here. We go through the footage real quick. Um, and it is slowed down somewhat. I mean, so it begins, they're down the street, right? It doesn't look like a lot's going on, but
Right.
this is the ICE agent and he's shoving this woman in the brown coat and black pants down the street, right? He's shoving her over here and then he shoves her again. Or no, actually, beg your pardon, that's a different woman. So he shoved brown coat. Now brown coat is over here. He's shoving a different woman that's in more of a gray coat. So whoever
Okay.
this is, he's just out here just he's kind of wild. He's kind of
Yeah,
wilding
for
out.
real.
He's just shoving people left and right, like get out the way, right? Whatever. So that's when again we see Mr. Preddy put his hand or his arm, kind of in the way. He obviously engaged with the ICE agent. You can see his feet moving in and his body moving in to engage. At that time, again, you can see him engaged. He turned his whole body with his hand to basically stop him from pushing people. This is the first woman he pushed, brown coat. That's the second woman he pushed, gray coat.
Mm.
So he's watching this guy basically terrorize women and shoving them down the street for whatever reason. I'm not there. I don't know what they did. Did they spit in his face? I don't know. Were they just minding their business? I don't know. But he intervened, Mr. Preddy. At that time, ICE agent obviously wanted distance. We could see his initial response. His arm shot out and his other arm grabbed the mace. So he did not expect anyone to engage him in that manner. So I say that because obviously now his adrenaline's already pumping, right? Fight or flight response. He's choosing fight. And now in his mind things are getting escalated. In his mind, oh no, they're fighting back. So what does he do? He sprays mace. Now what's important here, Mr. Preddy doesn't swing, he doesn't lunge, tackle, he puts his hands up. That is important to note.
He's just taking it.
Yeah, I mean, he like Mother Shelley said, his hands were out. He didn't continue. It wasn't an active engagement. He maybe had a knee jerk reaction, like you're saying, to seeing women getting pushed, but he did not continue the aggressive behavior, which we see ICE does escalate this quite a bit afterwards, right? So they spray him in his face. He's still recording. I wonder if they'll get that footage. Now, after they sprayed him, gray coat is on the floor somehow. Brown coat got up out of there, and Preddy's like trying to help her up while 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 ICE agents are on him right now. Yeah, there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5's coming around. Number 6 is grabbing some mace. So there's 6 ICE agents there, and I mean it's going down. He's on the ground. Some are saying right now he's resisting arrest. He's on his hands and knees. I don't know if he could have just laid out flat like a pancake. Everything happened so quick. Again, we're watching it at half speed.
Well, he's getting burned from the mace. Like that would make
Yeah.
anybody, rubbing. He's probably getting knocked down while he's
for
rubbing
sure.
his face.
John,
You know,
For sure.
they expect you to lay down flat while your eyes are burning.
I mean, this is
bro. I don't know if you ever been maced. I've been maced. I'm telling you right now, that's not possible.
It's not fun
You
at
know
all,
what
bro.
You
know?
Bro.
Nobody is able to have a good time and be calm when their eyes are burning. That's for sure. But I'm just saying,
Right.
people are saying what he's doing right now from here to here is resisting arrest. As he's squirming and struggling, and obviously his eyes and his face are burning. He probably can't even breathe because it looked like bear mace because it was orange.
Ooh.
Yeah, it looked like something serious. Obviously, they're not spraying your Walmart mace at people. They're spraying, some top notch stuff.
At least the cops will say, "Yo, just calm down, and we will put water in your eyes. Just calm down."
So again, they're trying to apprehend him on the ground here, right? And that's when they notice, I believe, the weapon. Now, some accounts are saying the weapon discharge. Some people are saying that's a lie. I don't know. I wasn't there. And shout out to James Anderson. Much respect to you as well for participating in a good conversation. We just wanted to react to these facts.
You could definitely see he didn't reach for his gun.
No.
Well, yeah, because I mean he had plenty of opportunity if he wanted to fire and go out that way. right? That he could have, but he didn't.
Right.
You know,
So if the gun
it's
did go off, it would probably be from him falling on the ground, right?
well, somebody's arm is on the weapon right here. You see this arm? This is an ICE agent, right?
Oh,
So
okay, I
they're
see.
yeah. So their hand is already on the weapon, as we know. You
Soon,
can't really mess around with a gun too
as
much
soon as
before it
you
go
go
off.
in the scuffle, because even cops, I think cops will probably maybe will do it too. Because I've been seeing some certain cops, certain incidents, they'll scuffle with a guy with a gun. As soon as they hear walnuts hit the ground, shoot,
Yeah,
shoot now, and ask questions later.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean,
And
again, there's a lot of different opinions here. Shout out to Depth Knows. He said all he had to do was comply. HD Berg, shout out to you. He said Alex did nothing wrong. So there's a dichotomy of opinions here, and that's what we're here to talk about. Um, do those people still have the same opinion that the ICE raids are being conducted in a proper way? Or I mean, look, this is a scuffle. A lot is going on. There's a gun in the situation. Somebody's hand is on the gun, as Mr. Preddy is obviously still moving on the ground, right, trying to get his wherewithal, probably struggling to breathe, obviously struggling to see. So a lot of movement that could have made a gun go off. We don't know. It doesn't look like anyone, but what we do see is, again, somebody's hand is on his weapon because they're at his waist. So they're
and
trying to get control of his 9 millimeter, and this ICE agent is
he already
got
got
his
his hand
hand.
on his gun.
He's got his hand,
Yeah.
and we can see from the um, caption, and you can hear in the video, they are now alerting other agents there is a firearm on this gentleman.
Yeah, they yelled
Um,
gun like 10 different. They yelled gun like at least 10 times before the shooting started.
right, right.
But this is all right. So this is my thing. My bad. I don't mean to interrupt, but
No, you good.
this is why I say the state police should be there to make sure no civilian gets in their way. Like, these are ICE agents. They're technically like SWAT. They're not trained for de-escalation. They're not trained to deal with civilians. They're trained to deal with a criminal and to apprehend that criminal at any means. So you're trying to ask a dog how to act. You're trying to pretty much ask a dog to act like a cat. It's not going to happen. This is why you need the police there, because they're trained to deal with the civilians. They're trained in de-escalation, and they're trained for citizen control. ICE is not trained that way. They are trained to go after their target and to get their target. It's a complete different entity. It's a complete different agency. So you're going to get this type of result, which is why I say, why even go bother them? Why get in their way?
I hear you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, brothers. Isn't some of these ICE agents like ex-Marines, ex-Army guys and stuff like that too?
It's
Most
hard
of
to
them,
say.
most of them are ex-military. Most of them.
No, they are not. No, they are not.
They're
No,
not?
they're not.
So let's
No,
hear
they're
from
not.
Brother Gino P. We hadn't yet heard his response yet. Not to cut you off, Brother Jamon. Go ahead and finish your thought, my brother.
No, that was
No,
it.
Okay.
no, they're
Gino
not.
P.
They're not. They're
Go
not
ahead, brother.
trained. They're thugs. That's all they are. They're thugs.
Wow.
And that the reason all they are, they thugs. They thugs.
Street walkers.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Where's your proof of that?
To build up their ranks, all you had to do was pass the test. All you had to do was pass the test to get in the ranks. It's nothing major. You wasn't going through no
Now what
special
you're
training.
watching is Minneapolis police, Gino P. This is active protests that are taking place tonight in response to what happened to Mr. Preddy. You can see obviously a large police response. They're geared up.
But police is moving. See how police is moving professional compared to ICE.
Well, I mean, after a shooting, I assume the directive is, hey, let's not have another. I don't know. I'm not a cop, but you know what I'm saying? Just using my common sense, I would assume they're going to say, hey, everybody, like, don't go out there and let's not have another one. Obviously, they got the police tape. They're saying, look, you can protest, but don't cross this line here. They got their gas mask on, so obviously they're shooting tear gas and whatnot. They're sectioning off areas that they don't want the protest to take place.
Yeah, but they're
24th
professionals.
Avenue, that's
They're
where it took place, north
Yeah,
24th Avenue. So this is the corner essentially where Mr. Peretti lost his
No,
life.
I'm
But go ahead,
talking
Gino.
about. I just want to make the outlandish lie that was said here that his gun went off. That's an outlandish lie.
Mm,
He was burning from that bear spray. He ain't reached for no gun.
I agree. He definitely didn't reach for his own gun. I mean, we saw in the video
An outlandish
there was
lie.
there was others on his weapon, so he couldn't have reached for it.
The ICE
Um,
agents, won right there. Once you spray the guy, he is over. All you have
well,
to do, if they want to, break his phone, rough him up a little bit, cuff him, and put him but keep him alive.
yeah.
Don't
Well,
unalive him.
so people are saying Bob T, Gino P, Holiness Twin, and my brother Jamond. They're saying that ICE was in Minnesota because the state and local government failed. This isn't happening in Florida or any other place where they cooperate with the feds. Shout out to Curtis Asante. He said the fact that MAGA thinks they can justify murder just to meet right Trump is insane.
Well, I sent you the clip.
Crazy comment.
Y'all gonna add?
Go ahead. We'll finish with Gino P and then go to Bob T.
No, I sent you the video breaking news of Trump having a private conversation with the governor of Minnesota. And the governor of Minnesota did a private interview with a podcaster. And that was the video I sent you. But I pulled up just to debunk that lie that his arm was discharged. No, it was not.
We appreciate that.
But
we definitely
yeah,
see the truth in the matter. I appreciate you doing that, brother.
And in that video I sent you, just in the first minute and a half, the governor of Minnesota pretty much lays it out to Trump and lets it known that he failed. This is a big failure.
It's definitely not looking good.
Yeah, I saw that video.
The top chief of ICE in Minnesota, he was demoted.
Right, he's out of there.
He's out of there. So they just had a bunch of thugs. But I'm gonna dip out because I gotta work in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully you do a part 2 on the weekend.
But by the weekend, ain't no telling what's next with these ICE raids, man. Legal or lethal? Is this lethal force justified in regards to what took place, unfortunately, in Minneapolis a couple of days ago?
My prediction before I leave, they're gonna have to pay the Purdy family and Renee's family for this. That's my prediction.
That's going to be a long ways, but yeah, I can see that happening too.
All right, brothers.
All right, brother.
Y'all stay strong.
We appreciate you, bro.
All right, Gino.
Peace.
Mother Shelley says they are murderous criminals Trump hired. So this is what he wants in respect to President Trump, because Trump's days are numbered. So shifting gears real quick, I do want to talk about what President Donald Trump said when he weighed in multiple times since the shooting take place. His comments have stirred a lot of controversy, obviously, especially among Second Amendment supporters. So just today, January 27th, Trump called the incident unfortunate, but he focused on Freddie's firearm. He said things like, you can't have guns, you can't walk in with guns, implying that Freddie shouldn't have been armed at the time of this incident. Even though it was legal under state law, Trump added that he doesn't like the fact that Freddie had a firearm and he wants an honest inquiry into this investigation. This has obviously drawn backlash from gun rights groups, NRA and stuff like that, who argue that it blames the victim. Obviously, there's a lot of criticism around what took place here. But Trump noted that he had a very good call with Mayor Frey. I think that's the video my brother homie Joe and Gino P were hinting to um, in regards to being on the phone, having a call. But he also sent the border czar Tom Homan to assess Minneapolis operations, Trump defending Department of Homeland Security leadership while announcing changes like Bovino's removals. That's the top guy for ICE that Gino P was just hinting is no longer there. If we look at the local leaders, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey has been very vocal and direct. On a press conference on the day that it took place, he condemned the shooting outright, telling ICE agents, "Get the F word out of Minneapolis." He expressed fury over the federal presence of agents there, and he asked, "How many more Americans need to be unalived?" Highlighting this as the second U.S. citizen that has been unalived by federal forces. I want to talk to the panel about that. The second U.S. citizen, this isn't illegal immigrants. This is U.S. citizens now. The second time in Minneapolis that a U.S. citizen has been unalived. And of course, the mayor there is saying, how many more need to happen? After speaking with Trump, the mayor, he did agree that the situation cannot continue, which suggests some sort of de-escalation in Minnesota, at least. I want to hear from the brothers on the panel. Are you shocked that it was Americans that ended up unalived? I mean, obviously, the ICE raids are focused on illegal immigrants, so nobody expected American citizens to be the victims here. But I want to hear your take on that, brother Jamon. We'll start with you.
No, I'm not surprised. Looking
Okay.
at how what's going on with how the protesters are going. That's why it's no surprising. You don't hear the illegals getting unalived because, well, they're getting arrested. As soon as they come in, they're out of the way. Yeah, it's the aftermath or beforehand.
I hear you. I hear you.
You have the right to protest. No one's saying that you should not be protesting this matter. If it's not concerning you personally, if it's not affecting you personally, why are you out there and why are you causing so much chaos? Because it's not, and I'll be honest, and people may disagree with this, ICE isn't causing chaos. If nobody was out there to be yelling, screaming, and interfering with the investigation, they'll be in and out quick. They'll come in, get whoever they need to get, and they'll leave. The reason why it lingers is because they got to push through a crowd just to get to the person. Then they got to push out of the crowd just to get the person locked up. It's crazy. It's insane. It's insane. These protesters. Again, back. What happened to the peaceful protests, right? What happened to you standing afar off, across the way, out of the way, and with your bullhorn, saying what you got to say? And look, there's nothing wrong with that. Why are you so adamant about getting right next to them so they could hear you personally? That makes no sense. That's what causes chaos. That's what causes drama. That's what causes people's lives to get taken. It's not right. I'm not saying that person that shot that man is justified. He's not. He should be tried and he should be sentenced for murder. But again, if you're not there, none of this will happen. If you're going to go to a hostile situation with a gun, I mean, come on now. Then you're that close to the situation. Man, I'm just saying, it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be me, But you got people out there that feel like, well, I'm an American. I have freedom. I could do what I want. I could wear what I want. I could say what I want. I can carry what I want. And yeah, to a certain degree. You know, you can say whatever you want, but who knows what they were telling them dudes, you know, and not to try to switch gears, but you know how American women talk, you know. I'm just saying she could have been threatening that dude. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
And,
I hear
and
you.
I'm not justifying the shove. I'm not justifying the shove at all.
No.
You know, I'm just saying, like, why be that close to that man to even allow him to push you? Why are you that close? You know, you should be far off behind some line, yelling and screaming, or it's doing a chant, sitting down, singing a song like they did back in the day. You know, and that's the crazy part. You know, when you watch the Martin Luther King march or the Martin Luther King protest or any protest in those times, they wasn't doing that. They was in one area chanting, singing. They would stay there 3-4 days in one spot, or they would sit down. They would have a sit down. They would sit down in one spot and not move. But they're not in the way. They might be blocking traffic, but they're not in the way of the police. So I don't know. Trump's Trump's response, that's not shocking neither. You know, I don't think he's putting blame on the victim. I think that's more of a neutral statement from a president. You know, hey, you know, there was a gun. We're going to fire this guy, and we're going to do a deep investigation to make sure what happened was the right thing to do. And if not, I'm pretty sure there's going to be legal action taken against the man who pulled the trigger.
Well, one would hope that, you know, this is a learning point for federal agents, you know, again, just to say, can this be handled better? That's the question I have, not to you, Brother Jaman, but to everybody involved. Can this be handled better? Now, some people said something very important. Sister Bonnie, she said, I'm trying to understand why Americans are getting involved with illegal activities. I'm grateful God allowed me and my family to enjoy this beautiful country. Praise the Lord Jesus. So, I mean, she echoing the same sentiments as Brother Jamond and others in the chat. Shout out to Benzing Latari. He said, would illegals be out there protesting for you if the shoe was on the other foot? That's a good question. And lastly, Rackster 10 says, what happened to protesting the government? That's who you're supposed to protest, not ICE. ICE can't change laws. They are following laws. Some would say they're just doing their job. So I want to turn to my brother Bob T and my brother Jaman. We'll come to you in just a minute, homie Joe. What are your takes on this? Trump's reaction, obviously, you know, he kind of was harsh on the dude, then he kind of tried to walk it back. They're obviously going to de-escalate in Minnesota, Minneapolis. But again, I'm hoping this is a learning situation for everyone involved, just in regards to nobody wants to see the loss of life, right? So, I mean, could things have happened better in this situation, Bob T, in regards to, should people not be protesting ICE? Should they be protesting, right, the government?
See, this is why states should look at other states of handling how to handle a situation. You know, Florida, right? When they come, you know, they've been snatching people for a very long time. This is not something new.
Snatch
that, you know, ICE is doing. You know, they've been taking immigrants, people don't have no paper. You know, they do their thing a little slowly. But, you know, when it comes to the governor, he said before they come over there, they're going to have some training. They're just not going to go over there, raid people's houses, do what they want to do. They're going to have police escort. They're going to have police out there. If people want to protest, they're going to have to do it the right way, or they all get arrested. So these are the things that other states could watch in Florida and take lessons of how to navigate and do things. Because Florida is a state that handled their situation on their own. They're not gonna trust ICE and every other entity, FBI, and do all this other crazy stuff. No, they're gonna come blue collar Joes that gonna come arrest you when the law is suit. So I wasn't surprised when all this happened because these streetwalkers, ICE, and at the end of the day, none of them have no training. So they don't have no training of civilization. They don't know how to talk to people, just like what Jamal said. They don't have a lot of things that they know. All they know what to do is, I need to get the people that don't belong here. Doesn't matter if your mom crying, your grandma crying. It doesn't matter what it is. I need to snatch you. We out. They don't know how to de-escalate a situation of, hey, woman, can I see your ID? Oh, no, I'm driving. Oh, no, I'm going to snatch you out the car and throw you on the ground. Yes, it's wrong, but they don't have no training when it comes to citizens. They don't got no training when it comes to people at all.
Yeah, so Bob T, do you think they can learn, ICE can learn how to better handle citizens? Bob T and Jamon, would y'all agree on that?
Oh yeah,
I'm like, that's something
I agree with that.
That's something that the mayor and the government is supposed to come in and say, yo, listen, before you do anything, we got to give you some training. One-on-one. Take these police academy for 3 hours a day. So when you go back out there, you already know how to handle the situation. Put some police out there. Why? Where are the police at?
That's what I was asking. But let me ask you a question, though. So what if the governor is saying we're not going to cooperate? We're not cooperating with ICE. We're not cooperating with the federal government. So would it then be on the governor of that state? Would it be his fault for not allowing the police to assist ICE in how to deal with citizens or dealing with the citizens themselves?
Well, it really depends too, because like each state, each state has the ability to whether they want to or not, right?
Yeah,
so I guess you're right.
not.
Yeah, they can if they want to. Just like Bob T was talking about in Florida, right? They really do their own thing, and even Texas is like that too. So
I just wanted to say real quick, brother. I don't want to cut you off, but someone mentioned that the reason that this is happening in Minneapolis and not other states, like Bob T brought up a great point. They've been snatching people up for a minute, right? They've been deporting people for a while, and this is the first time that you hear of 2 American citizens being unalived, much less in the same city, in the same state. That's very highly unlikely. So if we look at, I guess, what's the difference, right? What's happening here that makes that different than when they've been doing it? And Bartholomew says ICE have been in a lot of cities, just like what Brother Bob T said and what you're saying, Holiness Twin. He said it's funny that people in Minnesota are the only ones getting unalived. It's not funny, obviously, but he brings up a great point, which is to say what y'all are saying. If Minnesota is not cooperating with President Trump and ICE, which we know that they're not, a lot of governors and mayors have said very straight up, hey, we're not turning over our illegals and stuff like that, right? To try to make a stand against Trump. So does that play a part in this? Like in regards to, obviously, if the mayor and the governor are to say to their people, hey, you need to fall in line, rather than to say, no, let's join, let's resist, which is exactly what the governor of Minnesota had said in his remarks. Basically, Tim Walz, he said that Minnesota has had it. He wants Americans to speak out, and he wants them to continue to protest. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and I could say this, right? Like, that's one thing about being in America that makes America so well, right? So if every state didn't have a governor, right? The governors represent what the people want in each state, correct? And so do our officials for each state. So not every state wants certain things. That's why certain things are legalized in different states than others. So to me is like for people to say, yo, you know what? All the governors just need to back down and give in. It's kind of sounding crazy because at the end of the day, that's you're saying that no one should actually have a type of opinion in each state. Because, like I said, some people don't want that stuff in their backyard. Some people don't want to see ice running there. Some people rather have less, I'm just giving an example, less police officers. Some people want less type of things. So I won't particularly blame the governor because the governor is a representation of what the people particularly voted in for what they want in their state. So if he's standing up and saying, nah, we don't want that here, that's really representing the people of that area. I just really feel like
Not
ahead.
to interrupt, brother, but just I think this is a fair question. Is that right to do if federal law trumps state law? No pun
Yeah.
intended. But if there's a federal law that says, look, we're cracking down on illegal immigrants. If they're in your state, turn them over, or you're aiding and abetting, this law this act that we're passing. Isn't
See,
that Wouldn't that be on the onus of the governor to fall in line under
yeah,
their federal government?
yeah, but also, and right there, like what you're saying, like it's still not illegal for, like Trump is not telling the governors, like, yo, you're going against the law. You understand? He's
I
not
hear you.
telling them that. He's saying, okay, you know what? Let me go sit down. Let's have a conversation. That's
For
what
sure.
he's
For
doing.
sure.
So that means how they're operating, they're in legal rights to operate in that fashion. That's why, even though yes, we have a federal government and federal law, there are also other laws that are in each state that
Yeah,
we don't have to, go into on a federal level that
for sure.
protect the citizens in each state. So
And
yeah.
What do you
and
guys
to
just Sorry, go ahead, homie
I'm
Joe.
sorry, bro. Well, I was gonna say, and to piggyback on that, well, not just the Minnesota governor, but all these other governors, they're probably seeing what's going on out here in California, out here in all these different states, and they're like, we're going to stop this. And obviously, it was too late. Now it's getting to a point where all these governors are going to rise up and say, you know what, we don't want ICE here around. They're clowns. They don't know how to conduct themselves, and you can't blame a governor not wanting to have their people in their state to go through that. If you're going to get, it's the worst thing to get treated like an animal. You know what I
But
mean?
it's
And
not.
I feel like I think that's what this governor is doing. He's just saying, you guys, I don't
You're breaking up, homie Joe. I'm sorry. You're breaking up, brother.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I'm saying that the governor probably just seen it as we seen you how you guys act in all these other states. It ain't going to go down over here. That I think that's what's going on here. But I feel like if Trump is really trying to do something with all the immigrants, then why didn't he have uh, a meeting with all the governors all at the same time and talk about this? Why was it
There was a
so
memo.
all of a sudden? You know what I mean? And then and not only that too, just today, out here in California, there was a ICE agent took down two Native Americans just minding their own business,
Mm.
just minding they were just driving, and they end up uh knocking them down. They knocked this girl down, knocked her son down, and they have them right now at some station. And they're legals. They're legals here from United States, from California, but they're Native Americans. And so I see that
Mm.
as all these other governors are looking at this and be like, no, I'm sorry, but this is, if you can't do it the right way, like the brother was saying, then don't come here. We don't need that kind of, let us handle it ourselves. But are they? We
Yeah,
don't know because I'm not from that state. I don't know. I only know what happens in California.
for sure.
So
For sure.
it's like a coin toss. But I do see the governor just like, you know what? No, we're not going to do it. We're not going to handle that. And
Yeah. I want to play this video one more time, brothers. Just looking at the statements from Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security. They're saying during the operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm. In this next photo, we see the actual image of his actual firearm. Um, and then of course Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, and followed by this, you will see the actual footage of what took place that day with Mr. Preddy, and of course the audio is muted, and so we're just doing a live commentary, live reaction to this. So this is one of the more seen videos where he's already on the ground. This is where things back up quite a bit, and we can see it from the very beginning. Again, ICE agent is, pushing, moving along several people. Mr. Preddy intervenes, makes contact with the ICE agent. ICE then maces him. His hands are up. They stop the frame to show that clearly he had only a phone in his hand. He obviously he had the firearm on him. He chose not to draw at that time. I think that is an important fact. You can see obviously this is two women that are being pushed down. So he's a man that's out there trying to defend or otherwise keep order. Some are arguing, hey, Preddy was out there resisting. He was out there being a protester. Others are arguing he was just trying to keep order and make sure that these women weren't being hurt and they're being shoved down. As we continue in the video, we see that ICE then makes contact with Mr. Preddy, and about 3 or 4 ICE agents drag him to the ground after he's been maced. He's now on the ground. They're scuffling with him.
Why is he dragging that woman?
It's tough to say what was going on with the two young ladies prior to this. Obviously, ICE had some reason to engage with them because there's other people around that are not being engaged, right? People holding the camera phone and stuff like that, because there's several camera phones. There's somebody in the car right here. The lights are on. So they felt some sort of reason, whether it's justified or not, to engage with those women. This is one of the final scenes before Mr. Preddy loses his life, where he's on the ground and ICE literally got him surrounded. Okay. At this point, his weapon is seen, and you can see the camera focuses in on that, and there is an arm from an ICE agent attempting to secure the weapon. Right. Another ICE agent kind of closes in to see, verify, yes, that is the weapon. He then draws back from the hip, and that's obviously one of the final scenes where Mr. Preddy loses his life. So that leads to where we're at now. Protests in Minneapolis tonight. This is a live feed. People are standing at the corner of where this took place on South 27th Street or 27th Avenue. And I show this because it's very important that we look at the facts. We get all the facts as we, of course, continue to seek the truth here in the after hours, the truth of the matter, reacting to it and asking ourselves, was this justified? And does this lead us to see that maybe ICE is or is not handling things the right way, or the protesters maybe are or are not handling things the right way? One important comment I want you brothers to react to is King Dat. He says the mayor of Minneapolis told regular police officers not to show up. I want to hear your reaction to that, Brother Jamond. Then we'll go around the panel to Brother Bob T and the Holiness Twins, as well as Homie Joe.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing, right? If the police was there, and here's the thing, federal, they don't need state's permission to do anything. They would prefer to work with the state so that way things go smoothly and accordingly. Right. But for the mayor to tell the police, hey, I don't want you showing up, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for situations to get out of hand. So, I understand you have your opinion of, well, we don't want ICE here, but they're coming anyway. And since they're coming anyway, wouldn't it be smarter to say, hey, you know what, since they're coming anyway, let me go meet them and put and let them, give them boundaries.
Try to help this thing along, right? Try to work with them.
Yeah. If you don't go and talk to them, say, all right, look, you're coming into my state. Listen, here's the dues. Here's the don'ts. All right. If you're coming to get somebody, go get that person, and we'll make sure that you don't have any interactions with civilians. If you step out of bounds and you touch one of our civilians, we'll come at you with full force. I mean, it's better to work
Yeah.
with the person than against the person. You know what I mean? That's my
It's
thing.
like saying if they make a mistake, it's like saying, "Oh, pointing the finger is Trump. It's his fault. They killed somebody, hurt somebody. It's on him. I ain't worrying about it." But why? But why go to that whole situation? And why not have the cops there, like Jamal said? We're just gonna advise you. We're just gonna watch you because we know the people, we know the citizen, we know the town.
Yeah,
Y'all not in familiar water. You know, y'all not somewhere in territory. We're just eye to give you out. But anything outside of that, we going full force.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's it.
yeah.
So
Okay, like I agree with what y'all saying, but I still look at it too. Like every state, if the feds are doing something that's not right, that they feel like that the every state doesn't believe is right, they still have the right to say, "Yo, you know what? We're gonna push back against what you guys are doing," because the feds don't always do everything correct, right? Which is
True.
and so they can tell somebody, "Yo, you know what? We don't want you guys to come in the state. Yes, we know you're here, but we're not gonna back you." Because also too is once they back whatever the feds are doing, it don't just lies on the simply the feds no more. It's also on the police officers and the people that live in that state too. So it's gonna be everybody as a whole, not just
right, right.
the feds. Yeah.
So homie Joe and brother Endor, do you agree that the onus or the blame, for lack of a better word, is somewhat on those state officials when they're telling the law officers, right, who would normally be handling these protests? They're telling them to stand down, to not go, to not participate, and things of that nature. They're telling the citizens not to participate. It sounds like that's a point we can all agree on, that shouldn't happen. That's obviously not helping things along. But I want to hear your take on that, brother Endor and homie Joe.
Um, I would say it's the fault is on both ICE,
Mm,
the government, the president,
hmm.
all the officials that don't cooperate together to get the job properly done. So
Right, right,
I
right.
would say for Trump, obviously, when you give these officials more power than your regular police officers, they should be properly trained and like I heard a brother say earlier, at least know how to deal with some customer service or some telemarket or something, how to de-escalate a situation can go a far way. As we saw the gentleman, yes, there should have been police there, but he was going out his way to push two women down that we saw, right? And the guy, though he didn't have to step in front of that young woman, he decided, hey, don't do that to a lady, and I don't blame him for that. But I just believe he was in the wrong
You're
place
breaking
at
up a
the
little bit,
wrong
brother
time.
Endor.
I'm still breaking up. Can you hear me?
No, no, I hear you just fine.
Just a little bit. I'm sorry. Go ahead and
All
finish,
right.
brother.
Now I just believe he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. He just he was an example. He was an example of if you get in our way, we're gonna do something to you, just like the other woman that
Mm,
lost her life. If you get in our way, we're gonna do something to you. And one thing they're not showing too is after they unalived that guy, there was a guy that was in the back clapping after they just executed him. Right?
yikes.
They're not showing that footage, but I saw footage of that they were clapping after that. And how I think the blame is on each and every one. Me myself, I'm not gonna go out there and protest because what
Thank
for?
you, Lord.
I'm
Thank you,
not,
Lord. Stay
you
home. Stay home, man.
yeah. I mean,
So
but what? Yeah,
just wanted to clarify real quick. To those in the chat, because I saw a couple comments floating by saying, "Hey, why do you have this picture of Trump looking orange and it says ice out?" Um, look, I didn't take these pictures. First of all, don't
Where
blame don't blame me for this man's complexion. Uh, secondly, I'm just trying to reflect what the scenario is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and what others places where they're protesting. I
it's a
mean,
protest.
yeah, they're actively protesting. I
Yeah,
didn't make that sign. I'm not the person in the picture holding the sign, but it is an accurate depiction of how the public feels in that city where two Americans lost their lives. So that's what we're trying to do here: show accuracy and be transparent. It would be disingenuous for me to show a bunch of people ICE. Um, hugging ICE agents in Minnesota. That's just not
Mm.
realistic. They're not
Yes.
feeling that type of way right now. Some people
And
maybe
that's
aren't, but over
and
there
that's
they're
sad
not.
because there's a lot of people that want that kind of picture, that wants that narrative,
Yeah,
where I really feel like, so it's like two things of the same coin, right? Two sides of the same coin. Yeah, you have these protesters that, even that are not immigrants, getting hurt, and then you have vice versa. And I seen in the comment earlier, somebody had said, well, would an immigrant would do the same thing for Americans? Of course, it happens all the time, especially out here in California. We have a lot of American citizens that would back up immigrants and vice versa, at least out here. But to to say, or to give an answer, what you're asking about, who can we really blame? I believe it's just everybody. The Bible says that there's going to be nations against nations and kingdom against kingdom, and this is what
true.
we're watching right
mm,
Oh,
now.
oh yeah. And I wanted to make a point to what you're saying too. Like even when we had the riots around like 2020, right? I know
mm,
some people believe like, you know what? It doesn't involve you. Don't come into it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, when I look at it like this, regardless of whatever race it may be, whoever, whatever, I don't care what it is, it's still a human being. So you
for
should
sure.
still feel some type of way about some type of injustice for somebody. If a life is taken, regardless whether you're black, you're white, or whatever it is, you still
Right.
should say something and stand up for something as well, no matter what. So, like I said, even if it was back in 2020 when we're doing the whole Black Lives Matter stuff, I saw a lot of people that from different races standing up for certain things, and it had nothing to do with them. You feel me? So
Oh
it's
yeah.
the same. It's the same way. Like now, yes, you might not be an immigrant, but we see something human from the humanity where some it's going on. So we're of course they're going to go out and they're going to say, "Yo, this is not right," and I think that they're right to do that.
I couldn't say it any better myself. That's exactly. And I remember back in 2006 when George W. Bush was president, he did the same exact thing that Trump is doing now. And it got to a point where there was a lot of people that weren't immigrants that got beat up, got hurt, just because
Mm-hmm.
they said, "Hey, calm down, relax, chill. Like, you don't have to be that aggressive." And I get it, as far as the whole, people need to let these cops and everybody do their job. But when you have a history since day one, since the FBI and all this stuff, there's been so many corruptions then. Why would you not think there's no corruption now in those forces with this ICE? And and you can, like, with all honesty, I don't believe one, because one person's bad, all of them are bad. No,
Yeah,
I'm pretty
exactly.
sure there's a lot of agents that are ISIS that they want to do the right thing, but just because someone that works with them are on camera pulling this stuff doesn't make it seem like they're all like that. It's just unfortunately that they have these, like the brother was saying earlier, they're thugs. They're thugs, and not all of them are like that. And it's sad that we can't support them, but we could, but we should, but we shouldn't. Just
Hmm.
because on the goodness of doing the right thing and stepping up for your fellow brother and sister.
Exactly.
Regardless, you
Exactly.
know. So that's
You're right.
how I see it. That's
Yeah.
how I see it.
Yeah, because it's a humanity thing, like you said, brother. It's not just about laws and politics all the time. Like if you see something that's wrong, you should stand up and say something that's wrong. Because not
Yep.
all law is right. Not everything that goes past that Senate is the right thing. So I agree with you, brother. I do.
It's a good
Right.
conversation.
I'm gonna say something, but I'm gonna say it at home.
Wait,
Wait,
Okay,
wait.
well, check this out. A couple months ago, on my street, and I even put it on my YouTube video on my YouTube channel. There was ISIS around my area. What do you do in a predicament when it's literally in your neighborhood, when you are on your front property and you got guns pointed at you, saying "Get in the damn house" when you're on the property of your house?
Hmm.
What do you do then? You're still
Yeah.
going to
hmm
get shot at. You're
What
you're still
right.
going
happens?
to get harassed. And this is your house, your yard, your front yard. You're not going over the gate. You're just standing right there, just looking. And I get it. Well, get in the house, okay, but that's besides the point. The point is that you can't help it that they're literally on your block and they're pointing guns at you. And it got to a point where when I told you I've gotten maced before it, they were shooting off those grenade spray thingies, those grenade thingies, and my whole area was full of those. At the end of the day, when the smoke cleared, all those pepper spray balls were all over my house. So it's like, what do you do about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh,
They have permission to kick in your door now without a warrant. So what do you do
well,
when it
no,
comes home?
so I looked into that. It's not a warrant that's signed by a judge. What it is an alternative warrant, and they need to have your name in an investigation. They just can't select some random door and kick it in. They need to have your name already on a file, and they need to know that that's the house that
Jamal,
you are in.
Jamal, Jamal.
Yeah.
How
Well,
many
that's well.
times
Okay.
that a
Well,
cop,
that's
how
So
yeah.
many
let
times
me
that a cop kick in the door and they say have a warrant and they
let me
went to
let
the
me
wrong
get the
house? How
floor.
many
Let me get the
times?
floor real quick, brother. Let me get the
No.
floor real
Well,
quick. Just real quick. I'm sorry, homie Joe.
okay.
I just want to get the floor really quick. So, um, as we continue this deep dive, I want to turn and pivot a little bit because again, people were saying, "Hey, uh, you're only focusing on the bad." Okay, so we want to keep it square, right? We want to call a spade a spade. Some people are saying this is a big win for Trump, as you can see in the headline. It says illegal aliens data to be sent to ICE. Um, So we want to look at the facts from reliable sources who are asking and answering these questions. How effective are these ICE raids in actually deporting undocumented immigrants? We're not here to take sides, but we're here to seek the truth because obviously the truth matters, especially when we're called to discern right from wrong. So, looking at the facts from independent trackers and also from government entities like Department of Homeland Security, the Trump administration has dramatically ramped up enforcement, obviously, is what we're seeing here with all these ICE agents and ICE operations. Since January of last year, ICE arrests have doubled with a daily average around 1,200 or more. That's a lot of arrests, brothers. 1,200 a day?
Yeah.
That's that's a lot of work. The detention numbers have hit record highs. People in custody peak near 70 to 73,000, which is up from 40,000 at the beginning of Trump's term. So in 1 year, he almost doubled the number of those who are in custody. As far as deportations or removals from the country, a lot of mixed numbers. We talked about that last time. But they're saying it's a combined 2.5 to 3 million that have been out of the country since President Trump's term began. Again, a lot of people are saying this is a win. Independent analysis shows that You know, since October, ICE has removed 56,000 so far. And of course, there's voluntary deportations with people accepting the money and saying, deuces, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not finna be on TV. So, in short, ICE is more active and visible, deterring illegal border crossings. Their aggressive tactics and pressure, some are saying, is worth it to accept the fact that mass deportation, it hasn't fully materialized yet, but they are certainly having some interior effectiveness in deporting millions while that ongoing operation is taking place. And so, with that, I do want to bring up just for a moment somebody who would coin themselves as a. Oh yes, you already know. We're gonna bring someone up who would coin themselves as a Trump supporter. Mr. Ham in the building. Ham, we're gonna do things a little different tonight. Ham, hold up.
I'm not a. Nah,
All
you
right,
said
go ahead.
it's not true.
All right, I'm
I'm
sorry.
not a Trump
Go ahead,
supporter.
go ahead and correct me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm not a Trump supporter. I support what he's doing.
Hold on.
Well,
What?
let's just.
That's Trump supporter.
All right. Look, I'll take
No,
what you said.
The law
Hold
is
up,
not.
hold
The
up.
law is not. The law
Ham,
is not Trump.
Ham, I'm gonna take what you said over. I said he supports what Trump is doing. He doesn't support Donald Trump. Ham said in the chat that Trump is right, or did you say ICE was right?
ICE is right.
So
The one
yeah,
guy. Who's the one guy that was talking that said that was talking? I don't
well,
believe nothing you said.
Ham, you coming in
I
hot,
was
brother.
listening
You
It's
coming
a,
in
it's a
hot.
lot.
Which
It's a lot
one?
of us that were
Which one?
talking, brother. There's a lot of us on here.
No,
So
I'm
let's
talking
do
about
it.
the guy. One. I know everybody else. I know everybody else was talking. The other guy is not. Is somebody else.
Let me just do it like this, Ham. Let me get your opinion on why you believe ICE is right, and do you feel that this use of force was justified? Go ahead. You got the floor.
Okay, so everybody on the panel, I'm quite sure none of y'all have been to Minnesota, correct?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so me, I've been to Minnesota probably 7 times. So you got a bunch of liberal white people there, men walking around in dresses.
Hold on.
That's why the lesbian got shot.
Yikes.
See, unless you've been there, you wouldn't know anything about none of the stuff that I'm saying, right? See, those people there are the same people that Malcolm X talked about. The liberal will be the worst people.
Yeah.
Oh, liberals. You're talking about liberals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
you
Ham,
got blue hair,
Yeah,
men
lost me
dressed
for a
wearing the people. That's what those people
I got you. So let me know though
are. Now
why
they
you
don't
feel
even got
ICE
a good.
is right.
Now, well, proving that. Why would you go to a church and you're protesting ICE?
Can you elaborate?
So, what did the church have to do with ICE? Number one, that's one point to be made. 2, they're doing it by the law. They've been doing it by the law. People I said this last time. It is a felony to cross the border under any circumstance. Same as any other country you go to. It's a felony. So automatically, you're a felon as soon as you cross the border illegally. Number 2, if you cut in front of somebody, I have a problem with that.
Ham, you're losing me.
Well, so
What do you mean?
so Ham, you're saying
It's
that
not civil. It's a felony.
I hear you, but in this situation, sorry, brother Endor, not to cut you off.
You
Or if
talking
that
about
was
the guy that got shot?
yeah. So let me know, why do you agree with ICE? Do you feel that was justified what happened to him?
Because he was impeding operations. Man, listen. Do you know how many times when I was in the streets, right? When I was in the streets, and people were meddling when somebody was getting locked up, what the police did to them?
Something bad.
Because they were interfering with their job. And I'm not even
something
talking
bad.
about ICE. I'm just talking about the police in general.
I hear you.
So why do people think that they're going to get treated any different? The only reason why they ain't going hands on them right now is because they got cameras on. Because if the camera wasn't on them, they wouldn't be out there protesting. Because a lot of them will be in the hospital.
Well, I hear you. So you're saying.
So to be honest, the only reason why they're getting away with it is because of the cameras.
So you're saying that
and I'm not saying I condone it. I'm not saying I condone it. I'm just telling you. From my experience, that's what happens.
I hear you. All right. Well, I mean,
they're not doing nothing.
So Ham, have you seen the video?
No, I didn't need to see it. Some little white man got shot.
Oh,
I hate he
man.
lost his
there
life.
you go.
No, Ham. You can't, bro. Go watch
Listen,
the video.
Listen, I said I hate he lost his life. I hate he lost his life. But the Bible says the law is for the lawless.
Oh,
he was
no,
breaking the law.
Go watch the video.
Let me do this. Let me do this.
I don't need to watch it.
I got you.
Trying to stop them from doing.
I got you. Hold on one second, Ham. Hold up. Let me do this. I'm going to play the video. And a lot of people in the chat agree with you. So I don't want you to feel like we're just up here in stark contrast to what you're saying. A lot of the things you're saying resonate with what Jamond was saying as well, which is had he not been out there, things would not have happened. A lot of people are saying, King Dad said, look, I'm with Mr. Ham. My Lord. But Ham, I want you to watch this. I want you to watch this video.
I don't.
Is that cool?
No, let me say. Yeah, that's fine. But let me just say this.
Go ahead, brother.
I don't condone murder. I'm not saying that that's what I do, right?
I understand.
But here's the thing. You're doing something like these men want to go home at night. And I'm gonna be honest, if it was me, right? And I was out there, I'd be the worst person to have out there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
God bless you.
No doubt.
I'm just saying,
all right,
if I was, which I'm not.
Oh man.
Because it's stupid. It's stupid.
I hear you, Ham. Now let's watch the video, okay? We're gonna watch the video.
All right.
And then we're gonna have the brothers react first, and then we're gonna come to you last, okay, Ham? All right. So I'm gonna give commentary through the video because the audio is muted, but I'm gonna break this down exactly what took place. So at the beginning, this is an ICE agent here with the mask on. This is a young woman who's walking down the street, or whatever she's doing. She's in the street. He shoved her, and then he shoves another woman.
No, you go back further than that video.
I can't. I understand.
He kept telling her to get back.
Ham, let the video play, brother.
No, because I already asked that.
I've seen the whole video.
No, but I already asked that question. I already asked that question. Was there any footage before that? There's none. So you can't say rewind something that they don't have.
Hold on,
how are you going to rewind? How are you going to rewind something that you can't have?
Ham, you said you never saw the video. How are you talking about? Ham, he said he ain't seen the video, so how you talking about rewind?
Ham, what happened? You seen the video, bro? All right, time out, man. Time out. Let's get some order here. Let's get some order here. Okay, so Ham, listen. I don't know what happened before, obviously, right? All I'm saying is this is what we see. Whether she was meddling, I don't know. She could have spat in his face. She could have picked up a quarter. I don't know. But what I'm saying is this is just a video. So I'm gonna break down the video as we see it, and then we're gonna have you respond after the video. Okay, Ham?
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you, brother. All right. So again, he pushed the woman. I don't know why. Whatever. He shoved a different woman. I want that to be clear. This is the first woman he shoved. Brown jacket. This is the second woman he shoved, gray jacket. This is Mr. Preddy engaging the ICE officer. We see the second shove again. Remember, brown jacket is here. Second shove is there. Mr. Peretti now engages with ICE. When he does that, ICE officer immediately shoves him back. He immediately shoves him back at arm's length, and he follows up with mace. Now, the camera highlights that Mr. Peretti is holding a phone. Meanwhile, he is fully armed right now with a 9mm and 2 additional clips. Yet he put his arms up and he's holding his phone. Why is that important? Because he could have drew on him. He didn't. He chose not to. Just highlighting what happened. Okay, one lady's down, another lady's running. He's got his hands up. Let's continue. Now, ICE is dragging him over here. We got somehow 4 agents teleported because there was just one. But somehow these other 4 teleported into the scene and they're dragging Mr. Preddy. He's on the ground now. They're still dragging him. He's on the ground. The 2 ladies are over here and they're wrestling with him on the ground. This is where some people are saying he's resisting. I don't know if you got bear mace in your face before, and this is just to everybody, but if you've ever been maced, I don't know if he's resisting or if he's struggling to breathe. We're just covering the video as we see it here. It's almost over. This arm reaching down is an officer, as you can see highlighted, reaching for his waist. That's where the firearm was. We can see an ICE agent, ICE officer, reaching for his waist. That's where the firearm was. Okay? At this point, the video is about to end. We see another ICE agent draw back and put his hand on his weapon. Again, Mr. Preddy's on the ground. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 ICE agents surrounding him. And shortly thereafter, reportedly 10 shots ring out. Now, we've seen the footage. I'm sure there's more. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that's what we have here thus far as how
That
it
right there was
began.
enough for me.
So here's the thing.
I can
As
tell
you-
you exactly. I can tell you exactly what the problem is.
Okay, let me know why you feel this is justified.
All of those people were still up around all of those ICE agents, were they not? The same lady that got the same 2 ladies that got pushed, correct?
They were around him, yeah.
Impeding their job.
I hear you. I don't disagree.
No matter what you say, they impeded the job. That's an investigation. You can't interfere with that.
I don't
He
disagree
lost
that
his life. He lost his life for breaking the law. Simple as that. That's the reason why the ICE agent didn't get charged.
So
I
just
don't
to make
care.
it,
That's
I don't
crazy.
care. I'll be honest. I don't care that he pushed the woman down because she shouldn't have been there.
Ham, just to make it plain, you feel that the ICE agent were justified in lethal force.
Both incidents.
Both incidents.
Hey, someone said same as Floyd, man.
Yikes.
What about Floyd?
No, not. They're not saying that in the way
you don't
you
want me to
think.
go there about that one. Let's leave that one alone.
Let's keep.
Nah, I wouldn't compare.
I think you already know the answer for me on that one.
This situation, the Floyd situation, to me, that was to me that was done purposely. You know what I mean? Not saying that this wasn't done purposely, but this was done.
They knew each other.
So let's just stick to this real quick. Let's just stick to this real quick.
Yeah.
All right. But all I'm saying though, TNT, you did see the same ones, the same 2 women that was pushed by ICE agents. Where were they at?
Mr. Ham, I got it, some brother. Do you think someone asked a good question? So breaking the law, is that a reason to kill? Is that a good reason for murder?
What you mean, impeding investigation?
Yeah, you think that justifies someone getting murdered?
But one, if you carry a weapon, you're supposed to identify that you got one. That's first. He didn't do that.
That we know of. We weren't there.
No, he didn't say that he had a weapon to him. Obviously, you see that. So you keep trying to justify it. That's why I'm not talking to you, because you just
No,
trying
it's
to
not
find a reason to
justified.
say that ICE is wrong.
What?
Damn, let's keep
Oh
it.
no!
Let's keep
Hey,
it cool,
it's just
brother.
being
Yeah,
real.
let's keep it
Yeah.
cool and respectful, brother. Come on, man.
It's
Yeah,
just being
but he
real.
liberal. He liberal. I can
No,
tell.
I'm not liberal. I'm
He's
just,
not
hey,
liberal.
I see what's wrong is wrong, what's right is right, and there's no in between. And it shouldn't take all these
So did the
four
guy break the
ICEs. No,
law? Yes or no?
Well, listen. Well, let me finish what I'm going to say. It shouldn't
Did
take
he
four
break the law?
agents.
Yes or no?
But listen, no. He told these ICE agents to chill down. That's what it. But at the same time, like I said, how do we know we weren't there? We're not listening to audio. We're looking at the video. But what I'm trying to say is that it shouldn't take 4 ICE agents to pop off 10 bullets on somebody. And if
So
you're from, you know what I mean, and if and that's just common sense. Why 10 shots?
So I want to read this comment here, impartially. Hold on one second, Ham. I got you. So Sister Bonnie, she says you can't put yourself in the line of fire. You do something illegal, you'll
Thank
have to
you.
pay. Oh, hold up, I got you. Hold up. She says you do something illegal, you'll have to pay the consequences, and that might mean unaliving. Americans have to mind their business.
All right. Hey, if that was you, right?
Hold
You
up,
want?
brother. Hold up. Hold up.
Hey,
Hold up.
hey,
Hey,
hey.
hey.
I'm saying, brother, if it's one of us, and because sometimes we're at the wrong place at the wrong time, right?
I mean, I'm gonna
But
be
that's not
honest, brother.
that wasn't the case though.
No, but
Twin. That wasn't the case though.
I'm just
Hold on,
being
hold on, hold on.
honest
Let
with
me
y'all.
let me just respond to Twin real quick. In all honesty, if I see anything like that happening outside my house or even down the block, I'm staying as far away as possible. That's just me. My instincts for
Yeah,
survival is stay
yeah.
far, far, far away.
No,
That's just me.
and I agree with you, but I'm just saying, like, as a person, like, if you deal with police officers and sometimes you just end up bumping into a situation like an accident. You weren't nowhere near. If you saw the accident coming, you wouldn't have even drove that way, but it just happens. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, some
But
type of.
Twin,
Go ahead, brother.
I got something to say.
Go
The
ahead, brother.
police, ICE, DEA, CIA, them is the biggest gangs in the world, and they legal.
Yeah,
When are people gonna learn?
they're legal, but it's not law. But it's not right. If that happens, so regardless of whether it was a police or for ICE, right? I feel like it should
Yeah,
be the same thing, because if it, like I said, it
yeah,
was.
but I'm just saying, it's a fact though.
Yeah, true. The biggest,
So,
but
so
some of them doing good jobs, and some law enforcement do great. They do a wonderful
I
job.
agree. I'm with you. I agree. But I'm saying the guy, the women, all of the people that are protesting, that are interfering with them doing their job, if they lose their life, they get ran over by a car, or they get maced, or they get
So
stunned,
I
this
have a
is
good
what they
question.
asked for.
I have a good. So you said they were at a church, right? Is that what you're saying, TNT?
well, that's
Yeah,
what.
no. They went in the church.
Mm-hmm.
They went in the church. I don't agree with the person that's supposed to be the preacher there or anything like that. So I'll make that clear. But the whole point of it is they did it at a white church and not at a black church. Like
Hold
I want to
What?
see them do.
Hold on, him.
on. Church is still a church, brother.
Wow.
Wait a
And
minute. Wait.
no matter what, if it's a
No,
black church.
I mean I'm just saying that it wasn't. I mean it was considered white church.
Hold on, Ham. So let me just say this real quick. Mother Shelley had a wonderful comment. She said, and shout out to Slither Gaming. Welcome back to the After Hours. Mother Shelley says, if you push me, she said, look, you push me, my nature is to respond and protect myself because I remember my mother and no one is going to hurt me without a fight.
Mm.
Wise
Yeah,
words
but
from a wise woman.
Yeah,
I get that, but we're talking about interfering with police doing the job.
it's a natural response for a man to want to protect a woman, a real
Can't
man.
win that fight. That's
No,
like
I'm
getting
not.
pulled over by the police and arguing about a ticket, so they got to snatch you out the car. Do you want to
Hey,
hold court in the street instead of going to court?
hey, I agree.
You don't like the
Nobody's.
law. You don't like this. Here's the thing. If you don't like the law, change it.
We can't. We can change it. I'm not the president. Hey, hold on. You gonna
They
vote for me?
change
Man?
laws all the time. No, I'm just saying the people that's complaining about what ICE is doing, change the law.
I hear you. So let me do this, because we're gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate you, him, for your hot takes,
Yeah.
and for
No, but
uh,
listen,
Hey,
I'm not taking doing the guy losing his life. I want to make that clear, or the lady.
absolutely
But
not.
I'm simply
Absolutely, we
saying,
know that. Yeah.
hey, TNT. I just want to say this real quick. Somebody had a question. It said,
Yes,
"What's a woman?" I would say your mama.
oh my God. Hey. Amen.
Amen.
So let me
indeed.
read this comment real quick. Brothers. Slither Gaming had a amazing and profound statement. He said, "We got to be honest, fellas. There's a difference between being legally right and morally right." And so on that, I'll get your last thoughts from Brother Juman. We'll start with you.
That's a good statement. Morally, it's wrong. Well, I think even legally, it's wrong. He wasn't reaching for the weapon. I didn't see any evidence of him, threatening their lives. Only thing that I don't agree with is that, him being in an area he shouldn't be in, and the police not being there to make sure, he was contained in the area where he would have been safe, but morally, it's wrong. Legally, it's wrong. Nobody's life should be taken at any time. At any time.
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's a hard statement, but it's true. The only one that has that power is God. God takes life,
Amen.
but yeah, no. My thing is don't involve yourself in things that ain't got nothing to do with you. I mean, and I don't mean the protest part. If you want to protest. I'm not against protesting, but I'm just saying don't cross the boundaries from protesting to now putting yourself in harm's way and things of that nature.
He said Antifa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if
That's
he
what
was
it is.
Antifa.
When you
Hold on,
start
hold on,
doing
him.
that,
Let him finish. Let him finish.
my fault, brother Jamal.
Dang.
My fault, man. I was just thinking while you was talking, man. My fault.
No, you good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're talking and thinking. That's what you're doing. But yeah, man, I don't know if they were Antifa. I've done my research. Well, not like deep research, but I've looked up some things about them. And, if I don't think he was Antifa. He didn't fit that criteria, his behavior. And he was just a person that was just nosy. You know what I mean? And it's sad. It's truly sad. I'll pray his family, heals and gets through this. Obviously they're going to get a check. I mean, that's just how it goes, and yeah, I feel for the family, but
Sure.
I'll end it on there.
Great comments
Hey.
from a great brother. We appreciate you, Jamon,
Oh
and your
yeah.
feedback. We'll go over to Brother in Holiness, and then my brother Bob T.
First of all, I want to say, and I wasn't really trying to respond that crazy, Sister Bonnie. I understood what you were saying. I didn't want to take that out of context. But yeah, a life is a life. I agree with what Jamon said. A life is still a life at the end of the day. And it's a sad situation too, because it's like it's hard to you're watching publicly someone getting killed, you know, I mean, or unalive, sorry, on on television today. And I understand that, everyone wants illegals and all that out of here and all that stuff, but a life is still a life. I mean, and you should still, if you see something that's not right, you still gotta look. That could be your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your loved ones, your friend. It can happen to anybody, and I just feel like they need to have more training when they go amongst the regular citizens, and regular
Well,
citizens shouldn't be put out here getting killed like that either. They shouldn't be getting killed. That's just facts, and it's crazy. And I know there are a lot of people that disagree with that, but hey, at the end of the day, I vote. You know what TNT said? Lawful, or hold on, what the question you asked? If it was
moral.
So
no
the
no
game in
no
here said,
no, the one from before, yeah, the first one you asked, the
where
beginning.
is it? Yeah, it said, to be honest, there's a difference between being legally right and morally right.
Okay, no, oh no, not that one. The one on the topic on your.
Oh, my fault. Let me see here. Is ICE justified in their use of lethal force during this
Yeah,
raid?
yeah, I say no. They're not justified whatsoever at all. Because if you do a good job, if you actually a law enforcement officer or whatever you may be, nobody dies that day. And people might say, "Yo, that's crazy. You're gonna have casualties and all that." No, a good officer knows how to. You can de-escalate regardless. You got different
Yeah.
precautions, different things that you could use. As you saw, the man was bear sprayed, literally trying to get all that stuff out his eyes, and he still was unalive after that. So definitely not lethal at all. All right, brother.
Wonderful. Wonderful comments from my wonderful brother in holiness. We're going to move on to Bob T and then Homie Joe. Bob T, what's your thoughts on this being, or there being a difference between legally right and morally right, my brother?
Well, morally right, it's actually wrong. I'm like, I don't like it at all because it hits close to home. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they could make these rules and send people away and all this other stuff because they're trying to make the country great again. So morally, I don't like it. I don't. It's hard for me to even watch things like that because I'm Haitian. I have families that got deported. So me listening to that, hearing mom, dads getting snatched away from the kids, and you just drop them somewhere and child care and all this other crazy stuff, and thinking America has some type of great thing about taking care of kids, and I don't know. I just don't like it at all. It's crazy. I just feel like they should have just done a better job when it came to.
I hear you.
Oh
I hear
yeah,
you, Bob
oh
T.
yeah. I agree. I agree with Bob T. Even me as a fellow Jamaican, like if they doing this as citizens,
Immigrants, because like I say, even for my
oh, he cut
years
out.
to get citizenship, not you hear me now?
Yeah,
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 we hear you,
yeah,
brother. Go ahead.
yeah. We hear you, brother.
Yeah, just like my parents had to fill out paperwork. It took years to get paperwork. It didn't take a day, 2, 3 days. It didn't take a month. It wasn't on, fill it out and then they're gonna call you back tomorrow and you get some type of appointment. It took years. Like people still, America is not they don't give people opportunity to get this resolved, and I just feel like they're just like, what, we're just gonna get rid of them and just start all over and hit the refresh button. So no, it's not cool. And there's people that care, and yes, they're citizen, and they shouldn't even be in our side. But there's people that generally care because a human being is a human. It's wrong. It's wrong. I don't care how you feel. It's wrong. You can't be a brother in Christ or a sister in Christ and say it's not wrong.
Amen.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Strong
I
words from a
agree.
strong man. We appreciate
Yeah.
our brother
Amen,
Bob
brother.
P. I want to pause, homie Joe. I'm gonna come right to you next, my brother. But we had somebody call in from the chat. Mr. Aaron said he's in law enforcement. He had a quick take. He wanted to provide his feedback. Aaron, greetings and God bless you. Welcome to the After Hours. What is it you have for us, sir?
Greetings, bro.
Hey, first, I want to say hello to everybody. Thank you for having me. Just give you these quick couple of words on my perspective.
Yes, sir.
So I work local law enforcement. It's a city about 100,000 people, and we have a department that's about 350 officers. So sometimes we deal with situations where you have protesters. And in a lot of those situations, we're not dealing with what's going on in Minnesota. Usually the protesters are just kind of like mingling around. Sometimes they go on the road, but they're not interfering.
Mm-hmm.
But based on my training and experience, how we would handle that situation is it's difficult, because obviously we want to get numbers to try to restrain someone who might be interfering with an investigation. The big thing that people aren't really kind of getting a perspective on is what the actual officers are feeling and what they're perceiving while that's happening. You got to try to put yourself in that situation, right? You have people who are yelling, they're screaming, they're in close proximity. You know, these whistles are going off. People are throwing stuff at you, and there's a lot of people, right? So as a person, as a human being, you can only focus on so much, right? So imagine that you're gonna go take this guy down, right? Initially, you don't know that he's armed, you know, and while you're trying to restrain him, someone figures out, hey, this guy is armed, right? As an officer, in my training experience, first thing we want to do is, okay, we want to get that firearm away from that person. Unfortunately, what happens a lot of the time when people struggle, it's hard for you to, you know, get a hold of their arms or get a hold of their body. And as people are moving around and, you know, they're fighting it, you know, so that perception of, oh my God, this person might actually get their hand on this firearm and either harm me or one of my fellow officers is a very real thing. So, you know, the longer that you're fighting and with all the chaos and all the noise, it's just one of those things where you kind of like tunnel vision into it, and you're like, all right, are we gonna have to kill this person, you know, to try to protect ourselves? Are we gonna try to figure out to disarm them without someone getting harmed or the person themselves getting harmed? And it's just one of those things where it's not as simple as, hey, these guys were wrestling with this individual and they wanted to kill him. It seems to me like what happened wasn't intentional. I think that the confusion of all the noise, the trying to restrain the guy, and people yelling firearm, I think, you know, someone got confused and they said, all right, well, this guy has a firearm. My partner's yelling firearm. He's still resisting. I got to take him out. You know, but it's one of those things where it's tunnel vision, man. You know, I've been in situations where I've been shot at. I've been in situations where, you know, I've been chasing someone, and while I'm chasing someone, you know, running down the street, I don't even know what's happening around me. You know what I mean? My eyes are on this person, and you know, same thing with driving. If you're driving and you're in a pursuit, there's this thing where your adrenaline starts kicking up, and no matter how much training that you have, you're still human, and there's just that possibility of a mistake. I know that some people think that you need more training, which training does help, but unfortunately, when you get adrenaline dumps and there's firearms involved, you know, some people, you know how they say, you'd rather be trialed by 12 and carried by 6. You know what I mean?
Judge by 12 or carried by 6.
Yes, sir. So,
Right.
Officer Aaron, I do want to say we appreciate your service.
Oh
Most
yes.
definitely.
Oh, yes.
Putting your life on
Thank
the
you.
line is not an easy
Appreciate your
thing.
service, sir. Good
And
explanation too.
well, I just want to say, from what you're saying, it sounds like, and of course, I can never understand not being in that situation, but what it sounds like, trying to empathize, is that a lot of split decisions have to be made while adrenaline is pumping.
Right.
Okay, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's like a kill or be killed. I mean, mindset when you're in that situation.
Yes, and all situations aren't like that. I think
Right.
it's when you're caught off guard and things are happening quickly. That's when you're like, oh, I what do I do now? And you sometimes you just act on instinct, and it might not be the ideal thing, but it just sometimes you just gotta go.
I mean, these are real words from a real officer. I appreciate you, Officer Aaron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that insight, sir. I appreciate that.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Oh yes. Thank you.
So
We appreciate you, sir. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions at all before I get out of here?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, seeing that you're a police officer, you're trained on how to deal with citizens, but ICE is more like SWAT, and they're not trained on how to deal with citizens, correct? Like it's a different level of training, depending on the agency, correct? Like if you're, for instance, if you're state patrol, right? If you're doing trafficking, there's training that goes along with that versus a police officer that does in city,
like patrol.
Yeah, like patrol.
Right.
Yeah. So those all do play factors in matters like this, right?
Yes, I agree. So with federal agencies, they're usually dealing with investigations, and they're only dealing with federal law for the most part, right? Local PDs, they're dealing with the local laws, so they have more leeway in what they can enforce. So because of that, right? Obviously, they have to have more training as far as dealing with the public, right, and public disturbances and whatnot. Whereas the FBI, they're doing more high-level investigations. So I've never trained with ICE, but I have worked with like the FBI or DEA or ATF, and yeah, the way they go by dealing with the public is very different. They don't just jump out and deal with a bunch of people. They're very laser focused on their targets. Whereas the local or state police, more the local, like the cities, they're dealing with large crowds. So they have their policies and procedures, who's going to do what, where we're going to meet, how we're going to grab people, who's going to bring them back, who's going to, form a shield. It's very organized. But yeah, you're right. I don't think the FBI or the DEA or the ATF or ICE, they don't really train to do that. That's why a lot of the time what they do is they supplement local law enforcement, city and state to help them with that other stuff, which they're not receiving right now in Minnesota.
Right. I wanted to ask you about that, officer, before we let you go. Because people are saying in the chat that the mayor and the governor of Minnesota, they were telling the police to stand down. In your experience, does that make the situation worse, knowing that the training, the interaction with the public is obviously different between federal agents and local police officers?
I think it does. And I'll tell you why, right? So like federal agents, they can't enforce local law. So local law would be like standing in the middle of the street, right? They can't enforce that. They enforce federal law. So what the federal agents are doing is, if you interfere with them, then they're gonna arrest you for the interfering portion. But everything else, they can't. Like if you're in the middle of the street, they can't, for the most part, unless you are interfering with them, they can't arrest you for that, right?
Gotcha.
Or if you're breaking property, they can't arrest you for that, unless it's their property, right? But that's when local law enforcement. If you're in a mob and you're breaking property or you're in the middle of the street, local law enforcement, they can come in and say, hey, you're impeding vehicles from driving on the road, or hey, you're destroying property. Hey, you're creating a public disturbance, and those are laws that local officers can arrest people right on the spot and bring them to jail. Whereas the feds don't have that leeway of kind of like quelling that immediate low level crime. They're dealing with more of, hey, okay, we'll let people do whatever they want to do until they do interfere. Unfortunately, all those low level crimes, like the destruction of private property or impeding traffic, they just can't do anything about that.
Understood.
Okay.
So let me ask.
We appreciate y'all.
Let me ask. Let me
Go ahead,
ask you one question.
Oh no, that's Jamal.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to had identified that he had a weapon, either open carry or concealed carry, right?
I think it depends on what state you're in. Each state is different. The state that I'm in, you don't immediately have to identify yourself unless you have that citizen contact or that investigative contact. The minute that a local officer, right, whether it be state or federal, hey, identifies himself or is rarely identifiable, and he walks up to the person is supposed to, say, hey, listen, I have a firearm, I have a permit to carry or whatnot. Like in our state, we need a permit to carry. It's not open state. It's not open carry. Or it's not constitutional carry, I'm sorry. And we don't have open carry, it's concealed. But so it really depends, right, on the situation. The feds, they go by different policies. They don't have to follow the state law. So, it's not clear cut. I will say that, if you have a firearm, you shouldn't be, for you to interfere with law enforcement, no matter if they're local or federal, that's a poor choice because it just escalates the situation. You know what I mean?
Sure. Absolutely.
Usually situations like that, what happened don't end well.
Yeah.
Right. They don't, because there's that element of fear. We're all human beings, and unfortunately, like when I go to work, I want to go back to my family at the end of the day. I want to see my kids. I want to see my wife.
Amen. That's fair. That's very fair, sir. Officer Aaron, we appreciate your time.
Yep. No problem.
God bless you, sir. God bless your family, and we appreciate you once again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thank you for that information.
Stay safe out there.
All right. It was nice talking to you guys. Take it easy.
God bless you, bro.
God bless.
Bye.
Wonderful take from a wonderful officer of the law. He was very respectful, very honest, very clear. And I think it was good to have his opinion, right? Because none of us are in law enforcement, so we don't get that same position as somebody else. It's just good to hear all different sides. Different takes on the argument. We don't want that ever to be lost here in the after hours. But Brother Joe, you got the floor for your final thoughts, and then we'll go to Mr. Ham.
No, just like how brother Bob was saying, no matter how any of us feel about it, life is not to be taken by no one's hand. And like I said earlier, I don't care how many people it takes to take one man down. It shouldn't take 4 agents to put 10 bullets on somebody. Unless he was shooting at them and all that. But it's unfortunately because what started as it should have been something to help America by taking all these criminals out and drug dealers out, became race to now it's just American citizens, and it's getting to a point where it is martial law next. If it's to a point now where do we going to have to see Trump as a dictator or what? Like everybody has their own different opinions. Um, but I try to live by the word of God, and the way I see it, all this is happening regardless, and every prophecy is going to come to pass regardless if we like it or not. And I just pray that everybody's just safe at the end of the day. Be wiser, be careful. Even if we feel like we're doing the right thing for some reason or another, we're always going to be a villain in somebody else's story. And it is what it is. And it's just sad. And I do pray for that family and all that. And because I have family that are immigrants. What I mean, I have family that are Native Americans. They never even knew about all this stuff and all that until years later and all that. But luckily a lot of them did get it sorted out, but a lot of them don't. And there's a lot of people in California that are getting deported, and they do have their papers, and they're not criminals. They're just regular citizens that are just working 9 to 5 and just doing their own thing, just staying out of trouble and all. But like I said, we're definitely at a time where nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and we need to be ready, be prepared, and because we don't know what's going to happen in our future, and it could be me, it could be you, it could be by accident, and I think it's just to be careful. We got to pray for our president. I know a lot of people don't, but we need to pray for him to make the right decisions, because right now, like it or not, he's the leader of this country until he's out of there. But and then we're gonna have to pray for the next guy and then the next guy, and then what I mean. So at the end of the day, it's just praying over this nation, because right now we're in a spiritual warfare, and it's getting to a point that now we're attacking our own brothers and sisters over a disagreement, something that we all don't agree on. Some of us do, some of us don't, but we're all attacking each other over these views that, yeah, we can easily try to get together and change these laws, but at the end of the day, that's going to take time. That's going to take, a different president to be able to do that, and or a different governor or whatever, so it's just a messed up situation that America is supposed to be one of the best countries in the world, or the greatest of the countries out of this whole world. And right now, I don't see that happening. Maybe in some places it is, but where I'm at right now, it doesn't look like it. You know what I mean? And all we could do is just pray for this country, pray for each other, and that's that. Regardless of what we think or what we believe individually, So I mean, that's all I can really say. I just pray for everybody.
Amen, brother. Said
Amen.
Said better. Said perfectly. Oh yes.
Wise words from a wise man. We appreciate you, homie Joe. God
Thank you,
bless
my
you, and
brother.
thank
Thank
you
you for
for
having
being
me
family.
again.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure and certainly an honor to speak with you.
Thank
Want
you.
to turn over to Mr. Ham. Going ham with Mr. Ham. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel. Ham, what is your last words on this here? President Trump's ICE raids, legal or lethal? And was this lethal force from ICE justified? You got the floor, Ham.
Well, we talked about this the other day, but I'll just say this, right? And then I was talking with a guy earlier. And so the problem that I have is this, right? The people that just came in this year, these past 4 years, they cut in line to get here for the other people that were trying to get their citizenship and stuff like that. I have an issue with that. Now, nobody's talking about the fact that Obama, at this point right now, Trump hasn't reached that mark. He deported more people than Trump has so far. Not only that, they didn't protest anymore, do none of the stuff that they're doing right now. See, it's funny that people can say all of this stuff now, but they didn't say none of this stuff when Obama was doing. You didn't hear nobody talking about that. So now it's somebody that they don't like that's in office. All of a sudden, it's real bad, this and that. See, one thing about it is I listen to conversations from people, and I pay attention to stuff. that's being said, but I also watch the actions of people. These
Well,
same
Ham,
people that sitting up.
I'm sorry
Yeah,
to interrupt, brother. I just was saying, just pertaining to this situation, what happened in
yeah,
Minnesota.
I am. That same, yeah, that same guy didn't do that same guy or that woman that got underlined. I hate to say this, didn't say anything about Obama doing it.
Right.
It didn't happen on Obama's watch when he was doing it.
So
My whole point that I'm saying to it is the same people that stirring up all of these problems with immigration, the people that disagree with it, the people that don't like it. Nobody said any of that when Obama was doing it.
okay, I just want to make sure we understand you. You're saying when Obama was deporting illegal immigrants, nobody had a problem with it.
Way more than what Trump did.
Yeah, I thought they were protesting it too. It just wasn't on the news.
And he didn't have
Nah,
ISIS.
it was a few. It was a few people. A few people.
Yeah, and also citizens weren't dying like that. Man.
See, you see what he just did? You see what he just did? He just
Hold up.
They weren't. They weren't.
You got the floor. Let's give Brother Ham the floor for his final thought.
Point. Did y'all see that quick?
So I think what Ham's trying to say is that because it's Trump and it's not a Democrat president or not Obama, that the opposition to Trump put these conditions in place to perpetuate what took place. Is that what you're saying, Ham?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, understandable. Obviously, a lot of people are in opposition to Trump, and they'll do, almost anything to make him look bad, his presidency look bad. So I understand what Ham is saying. It's an interesting take.
ICE didn't just show up because Trump's in office.
I hear you.
ICE didn't just show up because Trump's in office. They've been there.
All right, brother.
All right. Well, hey, I mean,
hey, George W. Bush did the same thing like Trump did, and he was a Republican.
No, he did not. He did. No,
yes, he did in
not.
2006. In 2006, he did.
Hold on one second, brothers.
No.
One second. Hold up. This is just the closing thoughts segment. This isn't the getting geared up, Javon. Oh yeah, this is just closing thoughts, brother. We definitely gonna be back for more. I appreciate y'all.
I was the one talking though.
I know it's my fault, Ham. You ain't doing nothing wrong. You got the floor. Go ahead.
But to respond to him, and then I'll get back into what I was saying. Bush had the lowest amount of deportations, so he's absolutely wrong. So, but all I'm saying is, if you can't complain about what Obama did, you really can't speak on it. These protesters, that's why I don't take them serious. Y'all didn't do none of that. Didn't do none of that when Obama was deported. I have a problem with that. I don't care what anybody say. This had nothing. Here's the problem. The immigrant community is suffering because of stupidity. Child support and immigration got two things in common. They're both broken.
A hot take from Mr. Ham, going ham here in the after hours. I appreciate you, Ham. As always, you have an interesting perspective. A lot of people agree with you, and certainly, it's good to hear your side so that people can continue to seek the truth and get all sides of the story. Ham, we appreciate you, man.
But let me say this, though. I don't have a problem with immigrants at all. I don't have a problem with them at all. My whole thing of it is when you cut in front of other ones that's trying to get here, I have a problem with that. Ones that already, like to Bob T's point, ones that's going through their paperwork. The reason why other ones are not getting processed is because people are cutting in line.
Hey, that's an important thing to keep in mind. Most definitely is that, is it always fair to those who are doing it the legal way? as Vic by God said, line skippers. Um, again, Ham, very interesting points. A lot of people in the chat, they agree with you. It's always an honor to have you, Ham, and certainly we appreciate you for spending the time with us in the after hours.
Yeah. And just one other point too. Like I want to make sure that I make this clear. I don't take any pleasure in them losing their life at all.
Got you. Well, God bless you, Brother Ham. God bless your family, man. We appreciate you, and we wish you the very best.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
God
sir.
bless y'all.
Yes, sir. I appreciate all my brothers on the panel. Most definitely, I appreciate all of y'all in the chat. I appreciate the 30,000 that have watched thus far. I appreciate the 1,200 that have voted in the poll. We're gonna go ahead and end the poll. It says basically whether or not people thought it was justified in what took place a couple days ago concerning this young man, the ICU nurse. And I saw a vast majority did say no, but it was a lot more even keeled than I thought it would be. And so, as YouTube's tallying up all the votes, let me go ahead and play one more time this video that some may or may not have seen here in the after hours. Unfortunately, some of the last moments before Mr. Preddy lost his life concerning the encounter he had with ICE and the ICE operation. And so, when asking the question, is ICE justified in their use of lethal force during the raid, 58% said no, 36% said yes, and 6% said they weren't sure. Again, a lot more even killed than I thought. 58%, that's almost half. And, it goes to show that it's truly a dividing subject. The loss of life is something that none of us ever want to see or ever want to have happen on either side. We've heard from officers, we've heard from brothers who have foreign relations, foreign roots, we've heard from grassroots, and certainly you've heard from us who are in holiness. And so we'll go ahead and watch this clip one last time before we knock off. Again, I appreciate my brothers on the panel. I appreciate all y'all in the chat, most definitely for holding it down with us here on the TNT News Network. And so I'll just do a little video commentary here as we watch in slow motion ICE agent moving along, pushing a young woman down the street. It shows then the same agent pushing someone and being engaged by Mr. Preddy. As Mr. Preddy engages the ICE agent after pushing the woman down, the ICE agent immediately sprayed him with mace and got some distance between him and himself. The camera zooms in to show that he had a camera in his hands at the time. After that, chaos ensued with about 4 or 5 ICE agents, including the very first one, struggling to get Mr. Preddy on the ground. As he gets to the ground, they notice that he has a firearm on his waist, a 9mm that was loaded and did include 2 additional clips. And that is something that you'll see here. The ICE agent is reaching for and is highlighted in the video. As the ICE agent is reaching for the firearm, we see Mr. Preddy still continue to move, of course, undoubtedly from being maced. And then, of course, the video stops as one ICE agent reaches for his weapon. Unfortunately, we know what follows shortly after is the loss of life. Touching on this particular subject here in the after hours, it's not always easy to talk about, and certainly it is not always something that I can say is an enjoyable subject. But nevertheless, it is necessary, brothers and sisters, that we do cover these tough subjects. It is necessary that we do talk about these critical things because we must be aware, we must stay aware of our environment and what's going on around us. Needless to say, whether or not you agree or disagree with the use of force none of us want any life to be lost. And so prayers go out, most definitely, to the family, the friends, the loved ones of Mr. Preddy and all those involved, including the ICE agent, who I'm sure did not wake up that day planning to take somebody's life. You know, one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that each and every one of us who are involved in this, whatever side of the line you fall on, whether you agree with Trump, whether you don't, whether you agree with ICE, whether you don't, everybody is human, and everybody does not want to lose their life. We've heard from law enforcement. We've heard from brothers who have families who have gone through the immigration process. We've heard from brothers themselves who have gone through the immigration process. At the end of the day, you know, we just want to keep in mind that each and every one of us has to love one another, regardless of where they come from, regardless of the mistakes that are made. And certainly we want to keep each other in prayer. And so likewise, I will do that for you in the after hours. Take care and God bless.